Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Quick Cut Sports Network here at beautiful Daytona Municipal Stadium, home of Bethune-Cookman, for this Cure All-Star Game of the Week presented by Orlando Health. Lake Mary visiting Mainland. I'm BA alongside Dan LaForest for this major matchup and yet another Game of the Week, Dan. And if this matchup is as intriguing as I think it is, and if it's anything like last week, we're in for a treat.
No doubt about it. I mean, think about it. We're at Daytona Municipal Stadium. Bethune-Cookman played here last night. ESPNU was here all over the place. And here we are on the Cure Bowl YouTube channel with another Game of the Week. And, with an 8-1 Lake Mary team. We did the game last week. We saw what Lake Mary is all about. But to have an undefeated Mainland Buccaneer team this is going to be exactly what you think it's going to be heading into the playoffs next week, BA.
Yes, absolutely. And Dan, you and I have talked about some of the defenses that Lake Mary and their stellar quarterback Grubbs has faced, and we talked about Mandarin. How does this defense stack up? Because obviously you just said it, they're 8-0, and they've played exceptional this season. Could this be the best defense they've seen this year?
Well, first of all, you have to remember Travis Rowland and the Buccaneers were in the state championship game last year. And talk about talent. You know, you got to see a lot of talent last week with Lake Mary with Noah Grubbs and his receiving core, with Josh Raymond, that all-state tackle. But on the other side of that ball, you have to start with Dennis Murray Jr., the quarterback for Mainland. He has been the glue. I've talked about this on the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show every week. He is the glue for that offense. He is the key for that offense as they progress. But on the other side of the ball, Mainland has one of the best defenses. We talked about Seminole have one of the best defenses in the state, but it starts with L.J. McCray, the 5-star defensive end for Mainland, who just committed to the Florida Gators. This guy is the real deal. He is everything you want in a football player. And I can tell you, Billy Napier, I know it's been a tough road for the Gator fans this year, but that is a huge get for Billy Napier and the Gators.
Yes, it is indeed. And as we pause for a moment for the playing of our national anthem here before kickoff. All right, excellent rendition of the national anthem by the Mainland High School band. And trivia question, or trivia answer, I should say. Mainland High School, alma mater of who I think is the best dunker of all time. That'd be Vince Carter. Just so anyone is joining us that is interested in a little trivia tonight. So Dan, let's get back to this game. We saw Lake Mary last week, and for those that may be joining us tonight that have either not seen or not heard of Noah Grubbs, let's dive into a little bit of what they might be in for tonight.
Well, let's talk about the Lake Mary offense in general. You know, Noah Grubbs, sophomore sensation, has had a remarkable year. Right now, you know, with one game left being tonight, I think he's number 5 in the state in passing yards, has 40-plus touchdowns. He has been, for a young person, everything you want in a quarterback, and Lake Mary has built that entire offense around him. You know, you got to talk about his receiving core in Caden Harshberger and Logan Cook.
There's a list. You got Carson Henshaw. You got Harshberger, as you mentioned, Friedman, who we didn't even talk a lot about last week, who really wasn't involved in a big way in the offense, but Logan Cook still out there, and that list goes on. What a luxury that he has.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But, you know, you have to take a look at both teams here. And Mainland, you know, again, we talked about the talent that they have. And, you know, we talked about L.J. McCray. How about Xavier Mincy? Their defensive back, the senior, 6'3", 192, still has not committed to my knowledge at this point. Signing day is coming up here in another 6 weeks, and we're going to see a lot of these guys commit and sign and get ready to enter their next level. But, you know, Mainland is talented. You know, I also, you know, let's talk about Kamari Robinson. You know, the running back has led the team in rushing this year. The junior, 6 foot, 190. He is explosive. And I'm going to tell you the key to this game is you gotta once you see the size of the Mainland offensive line, you're going to know why they've had so much success running the ball this year.
Yeah, as I was, you know, preparing for this game, you know, your eyes kind of wander across the numbers and the stats, and one that stands out, he was honored here before the game for senior night, number 77, Madden Santiago, another player locally in Central Florida that is a commit to an Ivy League school going to Harvard. He's 6'5", 305. That's a commanding height and weight on any line.
Yeah, and I talked to both teams, or both coaches. I talked to Coach Scott Perry for Lake Mary before the game, also Travis Rowland, asked him if there was any key injuries. And right now Lake Mary's got a couple kids banged up from last week against Seminole. That was, not only a big game, but it was a rivalry game. It was a community game for them. But also on the Mainland side, you've got the 6'6", 315-pound tackle Colin Wilson.
Yes.
Got injured last week. He will not play tonight. He's not dressed out, and that's a big loss for that offensive line. But I can tell you, like I said, they are huge across the board. We're going to talk about them quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see how Noah Grubbs navigates this, as you mentioned, this huge offensive line from Mainland, and another reason why they're undefeated at 8-0. Both teams out at the middle of the field here at Daytona Municipal Stadium, and we'll take this opportunity to thank some more of our sponsors. The Cure All-Star Games of the Week are made possible by a partnership with The Facts Now. It is a division of Tobacco-Free Florida, and they are dedicated to exposing the truth about smoking and vaping. Dan, we are so happy to have them on board with us. And
no doubt about it. I mean, vaping has become the new epidemic.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are vaping now. They think it's safer than smoking tobacco, and the reality is it's not. They're putting their health at risk, and it's been a lot of education going out there, and we're going to be running a campaign actually during the Cure All-Star Games coming up in here in December, where we're going to be doing a lot of education on vaping and the dangers of it, not only with the football players but also the schools.
Absolutely right. And, of course, Orlando Sports Foundation. We are so happy to have them on board as one of the orchestrators of this Cure All-Star Game of the Week series. And we are proud to be part of their mission of bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. And, Dan, at the end of the day, when you strip it all down, that's what it comes down to, and that's why we're so happy to be able to be a part of this.
No doubt about it. And the thing, the Orlando Sports Foundation puts on the Cure Bowl, which is the second highest rated bowl game last year on TV. It will be December 16th down at UCF at FBC Mortgage Stadium. And, Alan Gooch and his staff have done a wonderful job with the Cure Bowl. And, anytime you have the ability to raise money for the cure for cancer, I think it's always a good thing. And we are starting a little bit late tonight, BA. The Seminole, Lake Mary, they had their buses break down on the way here, so they had to take their time getting here. They had some problems with the buses. So we're about 15 minutes late on kickoff, and that's why we started the broadcast here a couple minutes late. But, again, talking about the Cure All-Star Game, I've been involved with it now for the last 4 years, and this year it's going to be even more exciting. It started with the Orange Seminole matchup, and we added Lake and Osceola last year. Well, guess what? This year we're going to take Seminole out of that Orange game, and we're bringing Volusia in. So we're going to be excited to have that Volusia Seminole All-Star Game, the third All-Star game for football, but it's also expanded. We do baseball, we do softball.
Yes.
We're going to be expanding into basketball and possibly lacrosse. So the Orlando Sports Foundation and their connection with local high schools is a really, really great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just so fun. It's so fun to be a part of. And as you mentioned, going into these other sports is going to be amazing. And also Orlando Health finally as our title presenting sponsor for the Cure All-Star Game of the Week. So big thanks to Orlando Health and all they do for high school academics and athletics. As you see, the Buccaneers of Mainland dressed in their blue tops and pants, gold helmets on the near sideline. Lake Mary in the white tops, red pants and silver helmets.
And I tell you what, this is an exciting night. This
really
is an emotional night for me every year because this is the last time a lot of these guys are ever going to put on a helmet again.
Yes.
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 And you think about these two particular teams, they will be going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But there's so many high school football players across the state of Florida where tonight will be the last time they put on a helmet.
Yeah.
And the significance of that is very overwhelming.
And listen, no one knows how a player reacts to that until it's time. That's just the way it is. It was that way for myself.
Yeah.
You just don't know how you react to it in the moment.
Well, it was funny. I put something out on social media today talking about the significance of it and addressing the senior class and letting them know, take your time tonight.
Yes.
Look around. This will be the last time you strap it on. This will be the last time that you run through the tunnel. This is the last time you'll smell grass the way that you smell it tonight. Now, obviously, we got our official turf tonight, but we're getting ready to kick this thing off, man. It looks like Lake Mary is going to receive the ball, and we'll see that offense against that defense right out of the gate.
Yeah. The offense, we'll see Noah Grubbs first. If all things go as planned for Lake Mary as they will receive this kick, they're going to send Carson Henshaw and Caden Harshbarger Back deep to receive the kick. Harshbarger on the near side, stands near the hash. Both players about the 5-yard line. Ready to accept the opening kick and get this one underway, Dan. This is exciting, and I cannot wait. It's going to be fielded by.
Sit on it. There we go. Touchback. Take it to the 20.
That's what you expect for one of your leaders on this football team. As again, we welcome to the field Noah Grubbs, a sophomore sensation. He is 6'4", 220. He is a prototypical pocket passing NFL style quarterback. Rarely do you see a kid, as I did last week, come into the game with 40 touchdowns on the year and going 41-42. He is an exceptional talent, and the places that he can throw a football were really impressive, and he's got the guys to catch it.
You know, the other side also, you got to talk about the running back, too, for Lake Mary.
Yes, you do.
You know, he's had an amazing week. But also keep an eye on number 5, Robert Hill for Mainland. He has had an outstanding season at that linebacker position.
Here's Grubb, first play from scrimmage. Grubbs goes far side, almost picked off. Holy cow, they're going to want that one back. That was Xavier Mincy, listed as an athlete, 6'3", 192 on the edge outside. Man, hey, he's legit.
He's an athlete again. You know, if you take a look at the top-ranked players in Central Florida, L.J. McCrae's number 1. Number 2 is Xavier Mincy.
No doubt.
And I tell you what, he's got the size, the speed. He has all the intangibles of being a great college corner. And tonight's going to be fun watching him matched up against some of these receivers.
As Dan mentioned, keep your eyes on number 4 in white in the backfield, Isaiah Thomas. He can hurt you. He did last week against Seminole before that incredible comeback. Here he is bouncing to the near side at the hash. Has a blocker as he makes his way across the 25, and just shy of the 30.
And there was number 11, Mr. McCrae, sitting right there. Pickup of about 8 yards. Brings up 3rd and short. You know, anytime you're in an offensive situation, you're always looking for that 3rd and short. And right now, Lake Mary's got a good position to move those chains.
We were warned about the random static, ladies and gentlemen. We will apologize in advance. That is a uncontrollable situation for those of us here with Quick Cut Sports Network. Thomas in the backfield once more.
Looks like they got him to jump. That's going to be a first down, Lake Mary. And we know we don't have the clock on the board, so we will keep that updated. Right now we're in the first quarter, 11:13 left in the first quarter with the first drive here.
First penalty of the game early. And Dan, you said something very poignant last week before the game. I asked you what you thought was going to happen with Seminole and Lake Mary, and it sounds cliche, but it's so true. You said whoever doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
and that was exactly what it came down to.
And you always want to start with that, right? It comes down to penalties. It comes down to turnovers. And then the third is big plays. And, that's what you're waiting to see is who can make the big plays is defense. And, we talked about Mainland's defense.
Yep.
They get that penetration and put a stop to that running game right now, which is going to bring up 2nd and long. Also, you want to talk about another, star player out there. How about the left tackle for Lake Mary, number 72, Joshua Raymond, the Vanderbilt commit. And he's had one outstanding season. And a lot of these guys are going to be getting invited to the Cure All-Star game.
Absolutely. Well-deserved, too.
And, the thing about these two programs is what we look at is the 3rd week of the playoffs. If they're still playing, we're going to pull those kids off the roster. And, we want to name some of these kids, but I fully expect both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs in week 3.
Sure. This time Grubbs will have trips to his right. Looks that way, fires that way, tries to take the top off. Nobody home. Pass goes out of play on the far sideline. Incomplete.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, that was great coverage. It looks like number 21. Drayton Wood, the free safety, the junior, 5'9", 155. That was double coverage for Noah. But, looking at the field there, he didn't have a whole lot of people open there. He
really didn't.
He kind of laid it out there to get the ball out of there and set up 3rd down.
Dan, you're going to appreciate what I'm getting ready to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like a very special moment for me to give a shout-out to someone I worked with right off the jump when I started working down here, and that's Alex in Bernoni.
Yeah.
He just texted. He's tuning in. He said, "Go Rams." That's his alma mater. So, Alex, so glad you're tuning in, man. Miss you. Let's get together soon.
I tell you what, another one's Madison Little. She's doing a lot of stuff with ESPN Plus.
Yes.
Covering, and,
you kind of saw that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of saw that.
Well, I remember the first game she did, and to watch her now is so amazing, unbelievably amazing, and so proud of both of them.
Yeah, no question about it. So, With that incomplete pass to the near side, that means that Lake Mary's drive stalls. So the Mainland defense has done their job at least for the first drive of the football game.
Yeah, and we talked about that. I feel like Mainland's got such a great defense that this is going to be an opportunity for Lake Mary to kind of play that chess match with them and see what they can get done. And now Mainland's offense is going to get that opportunity. And I think the key is going to be for Lake Mary. Can they stop that running game with Creasy and Rodney Hill? The linebacker is going to get a little bit in the running back as well.
Absolutely.
They usually come in with about 3 or 4 guys running the ball. But I'm telling you, Dennis Murray Jr., the quarterback, is going to be something special to watch. Containing him is going to be a big challenge for this Lake Mary defense.
Absolutely right. That's a penalty on Lake Mary. That'll back them up 5 more. Elijah Gilliard back deep to receive for the Buccaneers, stands at his own 45-yard line. We appreciate everybody tuning in as we're bringing you the Cure All-Star Game of the Week presented by Orlando Health here from Daytona Municipal Stadium as the return goes up the far sideline. Gilliard trying to get the edge, but he is forced out of play.
Great tackle by number 11, Luke Prado, the outside linebacker on that punt coverage team there. Luke's had an outstanding season as well as that starting outside linebacker. But here comes Dennis Murray Jr. in that offense. And, like I said, you've got a lot of these offensive linemen. They're already committed. And number 55, Christian Hudson, the junior, is 6'2", 270 pounds. This offensive line averages about 270, 280 across the board.
Single man goes in motion. That's McLeod, one of the favorite targets for Mainland. Play goes straight forward. Robinson on the carry. Not much going on there.
That looked like number 54 for Lake Mary. Jamin Peters, again, the defensive end, the senior, 6', 240.
He was tremendous.
He had an outstanding game last week.
Tremendous last week. 2nd and 10 now for the Buccaneers on their first possession of this football game.
Looks
beautiful night.
Trips to the bottom. Yeah, it is beautiful. Trips to the bottom of the screen here. See if they try to run the ball there.
Again, it's going to go straight ahead. Carry by Robinson. He's the running back.
Offensive line's pushing, boy.
Yeah, they're not giving up. Robinson comes in with a little over 600 yards on the season on about 80 carries.
It's not many times, Bobby, we're calling a game and you continue to discuss the strength of an offensive line.
Yep.
And I'm going to be talking about that the entire game because the key to this game is running the ball for Mainland. Dennis Murray can throw it, trust me, but setting up that passing scheme with that running game is going to be key for the Mainland Buccaneers tonight.
Let's see what Murray Jr. can do here. He'll have Kamani Robinson in the backfield, Jr. Looking to come to the near side. Oh, loses the football.
Fumbles the football on the 32-yard line. Looks like number 11, Luke Prado. We just talked about him, the outside linebacker, comes up with that fumble recovery, and that's a huge break for the Lake Mary Rams, setting up great field position on the 28-yard line.
I hate it because for Murray, he just simply, the ball fell out of his hand. He just literally dropped the football out of his hand. He was holding it with one hand, tried to make a move, cut back to his left, and just dropped the football.
We said this beginning of the broadcast. Keys to this game for both teams. Penalties, turnovers, big plays. Yep. Right now, Lake Mary gets that one up with a big turnover there.
Yes.
But early in this game, we saw a great game last week where, Lake Mary's up by 14 and Seminole just did not give up. Comes back and wins that game by 1.
So here's Noah Grubbs taking the offense out on the field again. He'll have Isaiah Thomas standing in the backfield. 2 receivers top of the screen, 2 to the bottom. First Lake Mary drive stalled out. Let's see what they can muster here. Grubbs goes deep. Near side at about the 10.
By the Buccaneers.
Totally bottled up. Totally bottled up.
I think what we're going to see here is, based on what Mainland's doing on defense, the right there, the middle of the field's wide open. So let's see what Coach Adam Donnelly, the offense coordinator for Lake Mary, dials up here. You got split wide receivers, 2 high, 2 low.
Harshbarger and Cook will have the honors on
And Mainland's going to come.
top of the screen.
Quick pass.
That's a good one.
Looks like
nice and easy.
There's Logan Cook.
Cook escapes pressure, gets inside the 15, down to about the 14-yard line. That's where he's dangerous. Yards after the catch. He did it all night last week.
He is. Number 10, Logan Cook, is a very strong wide receiver. A lot of college coaches ask me about him. I tell them, think Julian Edelman. He's not going to be the fastest, but he's going to run a great route,
yes,
and he's going to get you a few extra yards.
And he'll catch the football.
And he will catch the football.
That's what was most impressive last week. Wide receivers caught the football, and when you have a quarterback that can put it in those kind of windows, as Isaiah Thomas surges forward inside the 10 down to the 9, but when you have a quarterback like Grubbs who can throw it in those windows, and you got guys that can anticipate that and catch it, oh my goodness,
yeah,
no wonder.
It looked like number 5, Rodney Hill, in there on that tackle. You know, we talked about him a few minutes ago. He is the middle of that defense.
5'11", 205, solid muscle and fast is Mr. Rodney Hill.
Oh, I can't wait to see him run the ball later in the game.
I know, right?
Especially in short yardage. He is something else to watch.
Twins each way again for Grubbs. Thomas in the backfield, quick one, far side. Harshbarger with the catch, and he's forced out of play. No, they're going to call it down inside the sideline, and he gets down to about the 6.
Caden Harshbarger is actually his claim to fame. He's a lacrosse player.
Yes.
He's committed
Yes.
to UNC to play
One of the
lacrosse.
better programs in the country.
And I'll tell you what, he's something else to watch. He's not only dynamic on the football field, but to watch him with a lacrosse stick is pretty unique as well.
He'll line up
All right,
top of the
3rd and
screen again
2.
with Cook.
Some money down right now.
Yes, it is.
Harshbarger in motion, or that's Hinshaw in motion.
Hinshaw in motion as Thomas takes it to the near side, escapes a tackler at the 5.
That's tough.
Yeah,
That's tough.
Tough defense and tough running.
Looks like number 2 for Mainland really got the most of that tackle.
Isaiah Thomas on the carry.
I'm sorry, number 4, and that's going to be Isaiah Shine. You know, again, outstanding corner, the 6'2", 180 senior, and he's a 3-star right now. Can't wait to see. Like I said, signing day is going to be equally as exciting this year to see where some of these guys sign, who they sign with from a college standpoint. And, my joy has been watching these guys continue to play at the next level and become very successful.
Well, and, as close as you are to the game and watching these guys come up through the ranks and, pay their dues as we come back to action here. 6:17, clock rolls, first quarter, no score. Grubbs with Thomas to his right. Quick handoff under heavy duress, and Mainland's going to get him behind the line of scrimmage. Nope, they're going to mark him no gain, but wow, what pressure, Dan.
Yeah, I think he got about a yard or two, but, understand right there, how that defense is playing. Adam Donnelly's looking at that saying, you know what, let's get the ball centered up, let's take our field goal and get 3 points on the board.
No harm in that against a really good
Looks
team.
like number 4,
that is
Isaiah Thomas
Uh-oh.
is down. It looks like he's holding his arm, but we'll see what happens. The trainers are on the field with him right now. Well, I'll tell you what, this is probably a good time to take a break.
Yep, we'll take a break as they tend to Isaiah Thomas. No score here from Daytona Municipal Stadium. You're watching the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health on the Quick Cut Sports Network.
Hey, Curie, you're clear.
Vamos.
This is incredible. Curiabella looks 100% as she passes through the leading edge rehab center. Our surgeons aren't the only ones honing their skills today. 7 floors dedicated exclusively to orthopedics and spine, and she can't be stopped on any of them. Just the goalie to beat. But wait.
Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute. Choose well.
Welcome back into the Quick Cut Sports Network here from Daytona Municipal Stadium. Cure All-Star Game of the Week brought to you by Orlando Health. BA, Dan LaForest, Mainland, Lake Mary. No score first quarter. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first. Lake Mary set up for a field goal here to try to get on the board first with the leg of Luke Shale.
We got whistles blowing there. Looked like somebody may have moved on that offensive line. We'll see what happens there. It looked like somebody drew off that defense of Mainland.
Oh,
they're
going to call it on Mainland.
They did. They held true.
Yeah.
Let's go move it a little bit closer. But Lake Mary's going to continue with the field goal team.
Yeah. So it'll be Shale again getting things set up. Holder is Logan Cook, the sure-handed Logan Cook. Here's the snap. Hold is down. Kick
Another
is
flag.
away, and more laundry.
Also, while we went to break, Isaiah Thomas did get up off the field, walked out on his own accord. He looked fine, so hopefully he's going to return here the next series for the Lake Mary Rams.
So, with that, the line of scrimmage now moves all the way up to the 6-yard line, which means the kick will be attempted
Fourth
from
and
24
4.
yards.
You know, does Lake Mary get bold here and actually do a fake field goal? You know,
I wouldn't put it past them at all.
It wouldn't be a horrible idea, putting Mainland deep into their own territory on offense if it's unsuccessful. But nope, they're going to
kick it. Yep.
All
It's
right.
up. And it's true. First points of the ball game, 3-0 our score. Lake Mary with the early lead. We'll be back with more right here on the Quick Cut Sports Network.
Join us Saturday, December the 16th for the 2023 Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. Come join the home team in Orlando as it's Orlando versus Cancer. Meet us in the rocking FEC Mortgage Stadium for a football and fun-filled game. This field will be full of amazing highlights that help us raise funds and awareness for cancer research. There are entertaining events and a top-tier football game to wrap up our entire bowl week. Join the home team and get your tickets today at curebowl.com. That's curebowl.com.
The Cure Bowl is special because it's bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. And it's teams of people, volunteers, sponsors, and then certainly our teams that play on the field.
And I think what people really need to understand very clearly is that every single seat in that stadium is part of something really, really big.
We are a team going after a cause, looking to win the battle, looking.
And welcome back here to the Quick Cut Sports Network here from Daytona Municipal Stadium. B.A. Dan LaForce, 3-0 our score, thanks to the leg of Luke Shale for the Rams of Lake Mary here in the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health. And now we'll see Murphy back on the field. Dennis Murphy Jr., quarterback for Mainland. See if they can answer. This is the first big test of the game for Mainland. Answering and now behind 3-0.
I'll tell you what, you got to be pretty impressed with number 24, Lake Shale, with that kick. I mean, he's a junior. He's going to be back next year. And for everybody around Central Florida that's big UCF fans, Colton Boomer is an alumnus of Lake Mary, and enjoyed watching him play here high school ball. And now he's having quite a bit of success for the UCF Knights. There's Murray with a snap, Bobby.
Direct snap, and Lake Mary read that. We're all over it. Finally making the tackle was Aris Martin, number 22, 6'1 junior.
Yeah, outside linebacker, 6'1", 177.
Yep.
Great penetration by that defense. And, nobody really talks a whole lot about Lake Mary's defense. There's not a lot of stars like you have on Mainland from a recruiting standpoint, but they are scrappy and they are disciplined. And Coach Rob Marler, defensive coordinator, has done a wonderful job with that group this year.
Here we go. Sending it to the near side. Nice little pitch and catch there. Brought in by number 8, Emmanuel Israel.
Yeah, Emmanuel, 5'11", 145 senior. Great job keeping that ball, the possession, turning it upfield. Sets up a first down for the Buccaneers.
And that kind of shows you what Murray is capable of with his arm. That quick release coming to the near side for a nice little gain.
I'm a big fan of Dennis Murray Jr. I tell you what, like I said, we talk about him every week on the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show, Balin Trujillo and myself. He is dynamic to watch, and you're going to see a lot of that right now.
Similar throw this time into a little heavier coverage.
Yeah, number 25 for Lake Mary on that. Looks like Cameron Jean, the senior, 5'9", 167. That was just good defense setup on that play right there. I think Dennis did a good job getting the ball where nobody else could catch it.
You know, based on what I saw last week against Seminole, too, I think, you know, all the accolades and all the attention go to Noah Grubbs and the Lake Mary offense, but their defense is absolutely solid. Here's a catch on the far side. Another one hauled in.
Philip Moore with the reception on that, number 2. And again, Mainland's trying to stretch that defense a little bit, see if they can open them up. And again, from, you know, Coach Travis Rowland calling the plays for the Mainland Buccaneers, is try to open up, set up the run, set up the pass. And sets up 3rd and 8 for the Bucks.
Murray will have Robinson in the backfield. Saw a lot of him in their first possession. Not so much since. They've used the arm and the legs of Murray. We'll see if they get him
Number
involved
12
here.
in motion there. They're going to roll him out there.
Near side, and
Great.
good defense. My goodness.
Yeah,
timing by Emerald Gant.
Emerald Gant
perfect.
is definitely one of the players you're hearing a lot about tonight for Lake Mary. Great job in that coverage. But sets up 4th down, punting situation here. But, you know, tonight, senior night for the Bucks. You know, they had a great ceremony here before the game and honoring these seniors, not only the football players, but the cheer staff, the band members. Excuse me, and a great crowd here represented by the Mainland community.
Yep. Looks like number 18, Gavin Greathouse, will be punting this one away.
Nice
Downfield
punt.
will be Cook. Lets the ball hit the
Let
ground,
that go.
and it's going to take a Mainland bounce.
Nice little bounce there.
Yeah.
Set up the ball there on the 34-yard line.
Not bad at all.
And this is about what I expected it to be. You know, it's, you know, take away that one turnover by Mainland.
Yeah.
You know, this has been a chess match. And with 3:07 left in this game, this is exactly what we expected. You know, this is going to be a hard-fought game.
Once again, we want to thank the Facts Now, a division of Tobacco-Free Florida. We're proud to partner with them to help spread the truth about smoking and vaping. And, Dan, you talked about it earlier. It's a big deal now with teenagers. Even in middle school, you see it. So we're proud to partner with them to get the facts out on the Facts Now. Here's Noah Grubbs and the Lake Mary Ram offense. 2 receivers split each way. Thomas back in the backfield, thankfully. He was nursing a knee there momentarily. He's going to get the handoff coming near side. Gets out across the 45, lowers his shoulder across midfield. What about that? Dan LaForest lowering his shoulder, taking a little contact.
We talked about him at the beginning of the game, that he has been a very strong force for that offense. Everybody talks about the passing game for Lake Mary, but he has really come into his own. He had over 200 yards rushing a few weeks ago against Mandarin, another great defense here in the state of Florida, and Lake Mary beat them. But it was amazing how well that offensive line opened up the holes for Isaiah Thomas, and you know, we're going to see quite a bit of him tonight. You know, Lake Mary the last few weeks has been very balanced in their offensive attack.
Yeah, they have, and you know, last week they kind of loosened Seminole up with that pass game, and again, it comes down to Grubbs being so efficient and so good about going through his progressions. He doesn't get out of sorts. You know, he's just unfazed by most pressure. And that's why we say he is an elite quarterback.
No doubt. I mean, he's very mature for a 16-year-old. And,
well,
he's getting a lot of attention right now. Obviously, as people know, the high school recruiting scene, it blows my mind compared to the way it used to be back when I played. You know, there's offers coming all the time. I got an offer. We used to call those letters back when I played.
Yep,
but,
got a letter.
You know, there's so much excitement for these guys on both sides of this ball, and you got to be proud of all of them, how they handle that type of pressure.
Thomas in the backfield again with Grubbs. Looks, fires over the middle, and overthrows his intended target.
Yeah, that was great coverage by number 13.
Yes.
It looks like Marquise McCants, the 5'9", 150 senior for Mainland.
Also one of their best wide receiver, arguably. Haven't really called his name much offensively either. For
and again, you start taking a look at some of these guys that play both ways. I mean, I love the Iron Man football.
Me too.
You know, when I see guys playing both sides of the ball, it just tells you they're football players. Forget about the position. They're football players, and they just enjoy being on the field. They're very athletic. 2
receivers split each way as Henshaw comes in motion. Fakes to him, gives it to Thomas near side, crosses the 30, knocked out of play at the 32-yard line, gets some of those penalty yards back.
And that looked like number 9, Kamani Robinson, on that another two-way player. He's playing both running back and outside linebacker, 6 foot 190, and Kamani is another kid we're going to talk quite about, not only tonight but next year. It's going to be exciting for him. Yeah, he's going to be highly recruited, definitely as he is now, but his recruiting is going to turn up over the summer.
Trips, top of the screen. Thomas stays in the backfield for Grubb, single receiver. On the near side is Chase Henshaw, the younger brother of number 6 for reference, as this ball is incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down and long, and really there hasn't been much connection yet between wide receiver quarterback for Lake Mary. We haven't seen the offense that we know is there yet.
Well, again, you got to give a lot of credit to this Buccaneer defense.
100%.
As much as everybody wants to talk about Lake Mary and their offense and Noah Grubbs of how good he is, this defense for Mainland is legit. Yeah. And some of the guys we've talked about tonight, we're going to talk about all night. They are extremely talented. And again, very disciplined. The coaching staff here at Mainland, there's a reason why they're undefeated, Bobby.
Absolutely. Yeah, it starts at the top for sure. Culture's right. Players are right. And we're going to see Isaiah Shine. With a name like that, you would almost anticipate a highlight reel. But we'll see. What a punt.
Nice punt. Nice punt.
Wow.
That's a high school player punting. That's a college punt right there, folks.
Yes, it is. Shine picks it up, does what he can out of the worst of the situation. He'll be out of play just inside or right at the 15, but what a punt. Oh, my goodness.
I tell you what, he's got a leg both as a punter and as a kicker. And, again, when you start seeing guys perform like that, you can't get, colleges are watching. There's college coaches watching the game tonight. We had over 7,000 views on the game from last week. I'm excited to see what that viewership is tonight on this game, because what you see right now live on YouTube, that will compound tomorrow night, because there are people around the state that are at high school football games. They're coming home watching it tonight when they get home, and they're going to watch it tomorrow morning, and because they want to see these two teams and how they battle.
Listen, I got a friend back home who does play-by-play, and he's watched our game every week for the past 3 weeks. After his game is over, he'll watch it on the way home or once he gets home. I love it. All right, Murray, let's see what you can do, young man. He's going to fake the handoff to Robinson, tries to come to the near side, and really severely underthrows his intended target. Ball slipped out of his hand a little bit.
Dennis was going through his progression there and just didn't get a chance to reload and set his feet to get that ball out there. But
and really, we talked about what we haven't seen offensively for Lake Mary. Credit Mainland's defense, but on the other side, we haven't seen the Mainland offense that we know is there either. And again, that comes back to it's just a really good defensive game at this point.
No doubt about it. I mean, again, when you've got this much talent, listen, we're talking about two teams that are high level. This is
high level.
This is an undefeated Mainland program. This is a one-loss Lake Mary program. We knew coming in this was going to be a big game.
Murray,
nice
slips
throw.
One to the near hash. Great throw, great catch by Clarence McLeod. Again, leading receiver. We got to get him involved.
I tell you what, that's the second catch of the night that I've counted, and he is definitely the go-to guy for this Mainland offense, and that sets up a nice 3rd and short, 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5.
5'8", 155. Great little slot guy. You saw him work the inside there.
And we're working down. We got 1:07 left in the first quarter. So I know that they're watching the clock on this. This is a big first down opportunity for the Mainland Bucks.
We appreciate everybody tuning in here on the Quick Cut Sports Network. This is we're so proud to bring you these Cure All-Star Game of the Week. And, folks, it's only going to get bigger and better from here with Quick Cut Sports Network. We hope you follow along and spread the word. The best in athletics as
the wheel route.
Nice little touch throw right there from
Murray.
That
was a good-looking throw by Dennis Murray. That's a timing route.
Yes,
so, you've got to put it in a spot, and hopefully your receiver's going to get to it. But unfortunately, that's incomplete, sets up 4th down. But, it's nice to have, to be able to do these broadcasts and highlight some of these high school players. It's great to have the Facts Now. It's great to have Orlando Health on board.
Couldn't do them without.
It's great to have the Orlando Sports Foundation and the Cure Bowl getting involved. And, it's nice that we get community behind these high school programs.
So, Mainland Forced to punt again. This one, however, is going to be fielded by Cook with a little bit of space, but he elects to make a business decision and skirts his way out of bounds at the 40. And that's where Lake Mary will have it 1st and 10. So it's really, Dan, about who's going to break the deadlock first, and the 3 points we have on the scoreboard were by virtue of a turnover.
Let's go back to our progression, right?
Yeah.
Penalties, turnovers, big plays, and we have, we've seen both teams again. One turnover by Mainland at this point. Haven't seen a whole lot of penalties. We saw, a couple that were going on there during, before Lake Mary's field goal attempt.
Nothing that created any danger, though, really.
Nothing that's horrific. I see great coverage by Mainland secondary against these, this passing attack of Lake Mary. And again, this is the game we wanted this week.
Yeah.
This is the game we wanted to put on television.
The game of the week, ladies and gentlemen, simply put. Here's Grubbs.
Batted away. Who got
Incomplete.
to that? It looked like L.J. McCray once again. Yep. And, when you're talking about a guy, realistically, he is 6'6", 265 pounds.
Yeah,
as
come
a
on.
Senior in high school.
Come on.
Again, if you're a Gator fan, you have to be elated
that
do. This kid is going to be part of the Florida Gator.
And I would encourage, if you are a Gator fan and you aren't familiar with the name L.J. McCray, go check him out on Huddle. Go check out some of his highlights. It's worth a watch.
YouTube him.
It's worth a watch.
He's something special. And I'm going to go ahead and make a bold prediction.
Okay.
He will be starting for the Gators next year.
I have no reason to doubt that whatsoever based on what I've seen over the last couple of years from L.J. McCray. Single receiver on the near side, trips top of the screen. Thomas in the backfield. Let's see what they can do here. It's going to be a handoff well read by Mainland's defensive front again.
L.J. McCray gave a great move there, got inside, read that, and was in the backfield before Isaiah Thomas could even plant his foot.
No idea. He couldn't do anything.
There was nothing to do there. And, again, that is the effect of an L.J. McCray right there on any offensive line anywhere. That's why he's a 5-star defensive end. That's why he is signing with the Florida Gators. That's why you're going to be hearing his name quite often the next few years, and possibly sitting in New York here in a few years for the NFL draft.
And
now, keep in mind, here's the other thing, B.A. This kid right here played tight end mostly last year. This kid didn't play football until last year's junior year. He was a basketball player, and rightfully so.
And a good one.
And one heck of a one.
That's what's so
to
impressive.
watch him transition his athleticism to this football is pretty big.
3-0 our score. Lake Mary with a lead as we enter the second quarter here on our Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health. We'll take a quick break, back with more right here on the Quick Cut Sports Network. And welcome back in once again to the Quick Cut Sports Network here from Daytona Municipal Stadium, home of Bethune-Cookman University out of the SWAC. Had a big game last night, as Dan mentioned, on ESPN Plus, or ESPNU rather. Yep. BA, Dan LaForest. And here's a catch across the middle, and that's going to go the distance. Touchdown, Rams.
And that is Caden Harshbarger. And I tell you, he is, for the second straight week, heck, all season long, has been amazing.
Listen, they find those seams right up the middle so well, and he puts that ball on an absolute dime. And that's the first big play we've seen in the contest, and that leads to a Lake Mary touchdown. They currently lead at 9-0 as we are just moments into the second quarter.
And just like that, Lake Mary's up 9-0 with 11:52. Just knocked off 8 ticks off that second on that play. But we talked about that. I told you about sitting up the middle of the field, and that's exactly where they went.
Luke Shale on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. Our score, Lake Mary 10, Mainland 0. Stick around, a lot more to come as we are just moments into the second quarter. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network. Welcome back once again, Quick Cut Sports Network, Bethune-Cookman University, home of tonight's Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health. We're very proud to have them on board. BA, Dan LaForest, we appreciate you tuning in on the Cure YouTube channel. Here's a kickoff after the 60-yard strike from Grubbs to Harshbarger. Mainland gets the football back, and they're going to try to answer now, down 10-0, and that return goes to the 10 and no more.
Yeah,
that's where they'll have it first and go.
Number four, Isaiah Shine was looking for some room, looking for that hole to break it up, but great coverage by that kickoff team for Lake Mary.
Listen, I'm going to call it as I see it. So far, Lake Mary's kind of, they've been the better team in all three phases of the game. You've seen it on special teams. Defensively, they have really just shut Mainland out offensively.
Yeah,
and they have a turnover.
And again, when you're an offensive or defensive coordinator, it's literally a chess match. You're setting your pieces up. It's early in the game. There's a lot that still has to happen. But right now, what you're seeing is you're starting to see those adjustments. And right now, this is the fourth series, I think, for Mainland.
It is.
What adjustments are they going to make to get their guys in a position to make plays?
Yeah. Dennis Murray Jr. will lead his squad back out on the field. The Buccaneers trying to answer Kamani Robinson with the handoff, and he is hit and met immediately. Drop, no gain, if any, maybe a half a foot. Good pressure.
And we're
almost
sitting
every
up
play.
high. And Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, that looked like number 51.
Let's see. 51 is in there, yes.
Yeah, Levy Manzan, the junior linebacker, 5'11", 180.
Also, 62 was big in that particular play.
That's Jalen Golden, the junior defensive end, 5'11", 195. So not a lot of big size on that Lake Mary defense. But like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, they are scrappy and disciplined.
Yes, they are.
Nice pass over the middle. Nice slant pass. Great timing route with Dennis Murray Jr. on that pass. It looked like number 10.
Yeah. Listen, Jeremiah Davis. He was under heavy duress from Lester Williams for Lake Mary, and being able to reel that in, and that obvious throw was excellent by Murray. Shows you what they're capable of. We're starting to see what we knew was there.
Well, it's like I said, it's a chess match. They're setting things up. Back when we used to watch the Veer offense, everybody's like, why do they keep giving it the fullback? He's only getting a yard.
What's he saying? Remember the Titans? It's like Novocaine works every time.
Yeah.
Just give it time.
It works every time. It'll kick in.
We've got another turnover, and it's signaled Lake Mary's got the football. That's +2, Dan.
Wow.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
This is a tough break for the Bucks, turning that ball over and giving Lake Mary the field position right now. It's going to be first and 10 from the 22-yard or 25-yard line. And I didn't get to see who actually got that there, Bobby.
Unfortunately, I did not either.
So what are the Mainland Bucks going to do with their backs up against the wall right now? Threat of going down by another score.
Yeah.
They've got to start creating their own turnovers.
They really do. They're going to have to get after it here. As receivers stacked each way for Grubbs with Thomas in the backfield. First and 10. 10:24 to play here in the first half from our Cure All-Star Game of the Week. Again, coming to you live from Daytona Municipal Stadium. Beautiful venue here, brand new scoreboard put in last season. Excellent, very deserving. And here's a handoff to Thomas, skirts into the second level. First down and more as he's finally brought down at about the 11-yard line.
And this is what happens when you play the defense Mainland's doing right now. They're stacking their safeties over those stacks of the wide receivers, which opens up the middle of the field. And literally all you're trying to do is get one of those linebackers to get one of your offensive linemen to clip one of those linebackers, and the whole middle opens up. So it's so important for that front seven to really control that offensive line. And Lake Mary takes advantage of that particular situation.
Hey, Dan, you brought up a really good point a moment ago about Lake Mary. As you look at their offensive line, you see how big they are, and then you realize that the defensive line is just totally different. It's built differently.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Here's a handoff to Thomas again. Goes straight forward this time. He is going to be wrapped up. Guess who? Mr. L.J. McCray.
Yeah, and again, we're going to be calling his name all night long. And I'm really excited to see that matchup with him and number 72, Joshua Raymond, the Vanderbilt commit. And right now, LJ is just a handful for anybody. You don't stop LJ McCray. You try to slow him down.
That's it. It's one of those players that you run across and you say, okay, he's going to get his. What are we going to do to at least try to slow him down and prevent somebody else from getting theirs?
Yeah, I tell you what, you start talking about his level of talent. It looks like we got a timeout there.
Yep.
Water break, so it's a mandatory water break with 9:13 left in the second quarter. But we're not going to go to break. They're only going to take about a minute here. But, let's talk about, you mentioned it earlier, the turnovers, the 3 points, right? Turnovers, penalties, big plays. Right now, Lake Mary is winning pretty much all three of those phases.
Yep, they really are. And again, with that +2 in the turnover battle now, they are essentially setting themselves up to take a 3-score lead going into the break. And on senior night, undefeated Mainland, that they're not having that.
Well, trust me, there's a big difference with holding Lake Mary to a field goal right here and them actually scoring a touchdown. 13 points, that is something that you can really talk to your team about. But, we're still a far way away from halftime. And right now, Mainland, all Mainland's got to do is play Mainland Buccaneer football and get some points on the board, and they're going to be right back into this very quickly.
You're exactly right. If they hold Lake Mary to a field goal here, that's a victory right now, a big one. They could steal a lot of momentum, even giving up points.
Listen, anytime your defense has to be on the field and you're giving them a bad field position, that's a tough task for any defense.
Thomas in the backfield with Grubbs. Grubbs drops back, looks over the middle, fires that way, has a man. Hinshaw goes up for it.
Incomplete.
Ooh, out of bounds in the back of the end zone. That was awfully close. Great effort by Hinshaw to try to reel that in.
Yeah, Carson Hinshaw, I'll tell you, if his name sounds familiar, his uncle is Darren Hinshaw, the offense coordinator for UCF, and he just got a preferred walk-on invite to the University of Central Florida. So, he's limping off the field a little bit. That's obviously a problem for Lake Mary. But
listen, Dan, from what I've seen out of him the last 2 weeks, he is a player that if Gus Malzahn can put him, incorporate him and his ability to run perfect routes into the offense, he could be useful to the Knights. Here's Grubbs looking to capitalize, goes to the near side corner, overthrows Logan Cook.
That is a great matchup right there. That is number 28 for Mainland, and he did not back down from that challenge of Logan Cook. And that is Desmond Newland, the senior, 6'1", 172. That was an excellent job in coverage by him. And, it's playing out the way that really benefits Mainland here is holding Lake Mary to a field goal.
Logan Cook ready to hold for Luke Shale. Already has a field goal from 24 yards and an extra point.
Yeah, this one's going to be a 26-yarder.
I'm telling you, this is a good stand for Mainland.
Yeah,
if you're
the Mainland coaching staff, you have to be excited about what your defense just did.
Yep. Flag comes in. Delay of game. That'll back him up
on Lake Mary. So right now, actually, Mainland is winning in the penalty section.
They are indeed. So that'll bring the placement of the kick back to the 22-yard line. With 9:03 to play here in the first half, Lake Mary holding a 10-0 lead. Chance to add to it here. Luke Shale with the kick.
Oh, doink.
Ah.
There you go. That's the break that Mainland needed right there. That solidifies a great defensive stop right there with a missed opportunity for the Lake Mary Rams. And right now with 9 minutes left, the Rams hold that 10-0 lead, but Daytona Beach Mainland, what a great job by that defense, and what a great opportunity for them to get the ball back and get some momentum back their way.
You know, I think over the years as I've been calling a lot of high school games and I see a stand like that, I love it because, you know, that's a playing for pride moment. And that at the end of the day, that's why you're wearing that jersey and that's why you're playing.
Yeah.
That was a pride moment right there, and hats off to the Mainland defense to give Murray an opportunity to maybe cut back in to this lead or cut into it. Robinson rolls out of the backfield. Murray looking. He's going to air it out over the top, going up for it, and a good defensive play to knock it incomplete. Good matchup there between Lake Mary's Jamison Jean.
It's like number 13 for Mainland, and I tell you what, he did a good job. Good job. Marquise McCants, again, the wide receiver, the senior wide receiver, did a good job playing defense on that ball. Went up for the ball, tried to make that catch, but excellent job by both players with that ball hanging in the air.
Give credit to the Lake Mary secondary because we have not seen much of McLeod or McCants. That secondary has really put pressure on the passing game for Mainland.
Nice throw.
Yep.
Great job by Dennis Murray Jr. It looks like
it's 8.
Number 8, again.
Emmanuel Israel. That's a couple of big catches on the sideline that he has. He likes that sideline, and I mean, if I was Mainland, I'd do it till they stop me.
Listen, at the end of the day, you've got to read those corners. Their corners are playing 10 yards off. You're going to take whatever they give you underneath, and that's a great game planning by Travis Rowland calling those plays.
2 receivers top of the screen, single receiver nearest us.
They're playing man here. You see the safety running in motion. They're in cover 1.
Robinson is going to be grabbed in the backfield and brought down. First contact made by John Scarelli, and he was there immediately.
Yeah, you know, again, that was cover 0, There's no safety. The safety had the running back. You knew they were bringing everybody to put them in that situation. Forced Murray to throw a bad pass, and he didn't even get there. There's a great stop by that defense and brings up 4th down for Mainland right now.
And look again, Lake Mary's defense is commanding field position for the Lake Mary offense. Again, they're going to should have decent field position as they're going to send Logan Cook back. He'll stand somewhere around the 35-yard line. 8 minutes to play.
Nice punt.
Yeah, again, a good punt. Yeah, we've seen some good ones tonight. It's going to be fielded on the far side by
Logan
Cook.
Up the sideline, takes it to the 50, so Lake Mary gets the ball back at midfield.
Great field
Can't
position.
complain about field position.
Not at all. And, again, you see special teams play for Lake Mary. And the defense, again, setting up the offense with great field position again. Let's take another moment to thank the Facts Now division of Tobacco-Free Florida, spreading truth and facts about smoking and vaping and stopping the lies. It's a big issue. You see it on the news regularly. You see it in kids as young as middle school now, and having a son in middle school, that's something that my wife and I worry about. We talk about it. We talk with him about it. So I personally am very proud to be behind this Facts Now partnership.
Well, I think that's a lot of it is parents having conversations with their kids.
Here's Grubbs with Henshaw coming in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Thomas. Fights his way across midfield. Gain of about 3, maybe 4 yards on a tough run.
Again, we're having a hard time seeing some numbers up here. We're on top of the stadium, and looks like is that number 7 or number 2? That may be number 2, Philip Moore, with a stop, the junior corner, 6'3", 190. And I tell you, look at this Mainland team, and they've got size all over the place.
Every position. Single receiver, top of the screens, Henshaw. Handoff is going to be made to
Robert Hill.
Forget it.
Robert Hill came in untouched and just wrapped up Isaiah Thomas. Robert Hill has had one outstanding season, and he is no doubt the middle of that defense, and there ain't much getting by him. Rodney Hill, excuse me.
You called his name early, Dan. We heard Rodney Hill's name early in this game.
Loved watching him all season long. He has been really a great leader of this Mainland defense, and it sets up 3rd and long for the Rams.
Undefeated Buccaneers of Mainland currently in a little bit of a hole, 10-0 to Lake Mary. And Grubbs is going to unload it, but we've got flags coming in on the far sideline.
Looks like pass interference on Xavier Mincy.
Yeah,
he got
Henshaw
tied up with Henshaw a little bit there.
Henshaw did a tuck and roll, looked like, over there on that far sideline when he hit
and we do see, obviously, Caden Harshbarger for Lake Mary. He limped off the field earlier. He is back on the field. But, yeah, I tell you what, Xavier had him tied up there. And, that's always when you're on that island, man, you're battling. But he was playing the physical ball that he's played all season. But that's unfortunately going to give Lake Mary a first down and a new set of downs here in Buccaneer territory.
That's going to be measured off from the 42.
Going the wrong way. It's not spot of the foul in high school. It's a 10-yard penalty.
They've got to – and it's actually – he's still trying to get back.
He's still setting up. It's not automatic first down. You got 3rd and 1 here. And I'm willing to bet they're going to give it off. There
Thomas
it is.
Straight ahead.
There it is. That is big. That is a big stop. I don't think he got it.
He did not get it. He lost about 6 inches, maybe a foot on the play. Again, an enormous stand on a big 3rd down by Mainland's defense. Now they got to do it again.
Yeah, you've got – now be careful. This is an opportunity Lake Mary loves to do, is actually have the quarterback punt the ball here.
Yes. Saw it last week.
Yeah. So I would not be uncharacteristic for them to do a freeze here, try to get Mainland to jump off, give them a first down, and then quick snap it and let Noah punt it. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yep. Wise play. End over end. It's going to hit the turf at about –
Nope.
Oh! Nope. It went into the end zone.
Looks like it went in the end zone.
Excellent effort.
There you go.
Excellent effort.
There you go.
One of the few times we have seen a nearly perfect punt. We've seen a lot of punts tonight, but I have a feeling things may change in the second half as we have 5:34 to play here in the first half of play. 10-0 our score. Again, you're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network coming to you live on the Cure YouTube channel. We appreciate them, and we also want to thank the Orlando Sports Foundation. We are very proud to be a part of their mission, which is bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer, and we certainly can't be any more humbled to be a part of that.
And let's talk about the Cure All-Star Game.
Yes,
we
indeed.
talked about that early in the broadcast, and this is so exciting because what we're doing is we're going to have a Volusia and Flagler roster. We're going to have a Seminole roster. And then I'm going to hold a draft, and I'm going to mix them up.
I love that.
So we're going to have the best of the best on each team. It's going to be equally weighted. You're going to have guys from Lake Mary playing against guys from Lake Mary. You're going to have guys from Mainland playing against guys from Mainland. They're going to be playing as teammates. And it's not going to be Seminole versus Volusia. It's going to be cancer soldiers against cancer warriors.
Yep.
And I tell you what, we've had so much fun with this over the last several years, and we are so excited to include Volusia and Flagler County in this. Looks like we got a little bit of rain coming in right now, Bobby.
Yes, we do. As the handoff's going to go to Kamani Robinson.
There you go.
To the far side. He's got room. He's got speed. He's going to be tracked down and pushed out of play by Trell Edwards, number 25 for Mainland, but not before.
No, for Lake Mary. It's Jamison Jean, the senior corner for Lake Mary.
Got excited there.
Yeah, did a good job catching up. But, we talked about that, right? Big plays. There's Mainland's first big play on offense.
Yep.
And it looks like it's coming back.
You hate it for them because they have shown a couple of flashes of brilliance offensively. And then here on their biggest play by far in the evening, it's called back.
Yeah, What's it raining for, Bobby?
I don't know.
Why is it raining?
I don't know.
I mean, we have a perfectly good football game.
Yeah.
Perfectly beautiful weather, and now it's raining.
Yeah, I know.
But I tell you what, that
Listen,
plays into Mainland's favor
I think
right
it does
now.
too. I think it does
It
too.
really does. So we'll see.
So after the penalty, that's going to bring the line of scrimmage back to the 10-yard line for Dennis Murray and the Buccaneers as a gentle rain continues to fall here in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty good. And I can tell you, as a former quarterback, I hate it when the football gets wet.
Oh,
So
gosh, yes.
We'll see what Dennis Murray does here. And again, it
Murray,
looks like
and batted down.
Batted down.
Great play.
That looked like number 11 for Lake Mary.
Luke Preto.
Luke Preto
We've
again.
called him several times tonight again.
Yeah,
Another
Luke.
one of those defensive standouts for Lake Mary.
Outstanding by Luke. So, yeah, we're going to be getting invites out to these players here in the next couple weeks, and hopefully next week I'll get a lot. I've already invited a handful of them.
It's so awesome. And, again, at the end of the day, it gives these kids one more game.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is it's it also follows up with the recruiting fair that we have is Mainland hands the ball off.
Robinson on another carry.
Kamari Robinson again.
For the Buccaneers.
This is a set up about 3rd and 15, which is not ideal for how this Mainland offense is set up, but
it's really not. They're certainly capable. They have a lot of capable wide receivers, and they like to sling it around a little bit. I've noticed watching some film back, but they just, again, tip of the cap. Lake Mary's defense has kind of held their passing game in check.
Well, again,
not kind of. It has.
It's a chess game.
Yeah.
And right now, Lake Mary's positioned a few more pieces than Mainland, but it's early in the game. We got 4:22 left in the first half. We're going to go empty backfield with Dennis Murray, Jr. back there.
Timeout called. Mainland didn't like it. They're going to call a timeout. We'll take a quick break with them. Stick around. More to come right here. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network.
The Cure Bowl is special because it's bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. And it's teams of people, volunteers, sponsors, and then certainly our teams that play on the field.
And I think what people really need to understand very clearly is that every single seat in that stadium is part of something really, really big.
We are a team going after a cause, looking to win the battle, looking to help win this battle. And I think that has been just a blessing for me to be a part of.
I can either sit there and be a victim of the disease, or I can be an advocate and help create hope and awareness.
I am a part of it for a reason, and I am convinced that one day we will be able to see the fruit.
Welcome back. Quick Cut Sports Network. Daytona Municipal Stadium. Mainland with the football. The Buccaneers with a 3rd and long. Trying to keep this drive alive here, and a little miscommunication leads to what would have definitely been a pick six with any more of a jump on the near side.
Little communication issue there. Looked like number 10 for Mainland on that receiving route. Jeremiah Davis, the 5'10 senior. But you're right. It's sets up punting situation right now for Mainland. Lake Mary is going to get excellent field position again and put that Mainland defense on the spot again with 4:11 left in this first half.
Think about how many times that Lake Mary has had outstanding field position, and Mainland's answered the call every time defensively. In a typical Lake Mary game, we would have maybe seen 30 points by now as that return goes for nowhere. Completely bottled up. Great job special teams for the Buccaneers that time.
Yeah,
Excellent job, actually.
Great discipline on the coverage lanes there. Really, Logan Cook had nowhere to go.
Literally.
But, again, what I love about this game is when you start taking a look at how the playoffs are going to be set up, and Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, the FHSA will release the official brackets for the 3S classification where Mainland is, and also the 4M classification, Region 1 for Lake Mary. We're going to see, Mainland's not going to see a team like Lake Mary in the first couple rounds, and
True.
Lake Mary's not going
Not
to
gonna
see
see
a
it.
team like Mainland in the first couple of rounds either. So
Good point.
this is such a great game for both programs, no matter who wins this game, because it's going to set up state championships.
Handoff goes to Thomas, and he's going to be met and dropped again. Listen, that is the 5th or 6th time that Christian Hudson has been involved in the offensive backfield in a big way.
Yeah, that big number 55. You see him coming, you're going to take notice. And, Isaiah Thomas had nowhere to go there.
Nowhere.
Big 55 is just stalking you.
Loss of 4 for Hudson.
Big one technique in there in the middle. Gotta love those big dogs right there in the
Execution.
guts of the game, man. I love watching defensive linemen work, and he's one incredible player.
You know, you pair him up with L.J. McCray, and there's no wonder that people have a hard time scoring against Mainland. Here's a shot across the middle to Harshbarger. That's going to be thrown just a little bit behind him into tight coverage.
Yeah, number 7 looks like Mason Shaler, the outside linebacker, was in great position there. 6 foot 205 junior. Again, we're talking about a lot of juniors on both teams. You got to be excited about these programs, looking at the talent coming back for next year.
Listen, as something else that we should have talked about more, I should have brought up more, is the 26 class looks to be absolutely loaded in Central Florida.
2025 and 2026.
Okay.
You know, we've got an outstanding 2024 class.
Yes,
But
no
the
doubt.
depth of the 2025 and 2026 class at every position here in Central Florida is going to be nationally recognized.
Here's Grubb throwing one to the near side and throws it out of play.
And again, give credit to the Mainland defense.
Yep.
When the quarterback does not see that operate, he has to throw it away.
Yep.
And we've seen we've seen Noah Grubbs be smart and just let the ball go.
Yeah.
You know?
He understands that his defense is good enough. He's going to get more opportunities. They've just got to figure out a way to unlock this Mainland defense, which they just cannot do right now.
And again, this Mainland defense is the class of the field right now, setting up another turnover opportunity. Get that ball back for that offense. 10-0 with 2:58 left in the game. You know, Mainland's sitting in a really good position. You know, we talked about what's next, the big plays. We got to see Mainland execute some big plays here.
Whistles
some points on the
blow
board.
as Elijah Gilliard is back deep to receive for the Buccaneers. Whistles blow.
That's a good thing, because that punt really was not that attractive.
Yeah. That's going to go against the Rams. That'll back them up 5.
And the way things are setting up, this is going to be great field position for the Buccaneer offense
Yes,
when they
it
come
is.
back out on the field.
And look.
They're telling him, back up. This kid ain't going to miss twice.
No, make an adjustment. Gilliard's going to go back to the 30 now, wisely. And more flags come in on the near side.
Looks like another one on Lake Mary.
Yeah.
An indication for those Buccaneer players.
They know
back
that
it up again. So they're giving away, penalties will kill you. But going back to that Cure All-Star game, we're excited to, like I said, bring Volusia and Flagler into that mix and put
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So we got 3 games.
Yeah.
We got 3 games this year. And we were talking about February. We have the recruiting fair for those guys who have not signed yet. We got 70 to 80 Division II and Division III schools coming in to take a look at these guys. With our friend Dwight Thomas, the great Dwight Thomas from Catapult Sports. He organizes all that. He's been working with us the last few years, and it is one heck of an event.
Love Dwight Thomas. It's one of those guys you just want to sit down and pick their brain every once in a while when you see him.
You know,
Mark Line, I could name several that are like that.
Well, you know, it's kind of cool.
Larry Bluestein. I mean, come on.
My weekly phone calls are Larry Bluestein, Dwight Thomas, and John Santucci from USA Today. We looked at the media today. We got Charles Jones from Central Florida Preps, Chris Boyles here with the USA Today Network and the Daytona Beach Journal. Channel 6 is out here. Channel 9's out here. I haven't seen Channel 2 yet, but they're probably out here somewhere. Great coverage by. They know what this game is.
5 wide for Murray, but he is going to be pressured out of play on the near sideline.
Yeah, and that's what we got to see more of. We got to see Dennis Murray use his feet a little bit more.
Yeah, we really haven't seen much of that. And again,
I would expect those are some of the adjustments we're going to see from the Mainland offense coming out of halftime.
Yeah, really, they have only had one really deep play at all, and that was a rush by Kamani Robinson that got called back on a penalty.
Yeah.
They have really had no luck in the run game whatsoever. And let's be honest, neither team really has. It's come down to those turnovers that have given Lake Mary field position.
Again, a lot of discipline and talent on that defensive front seven for both programs.
Here's Murray
back
looking.
to pass again.
Near side, in and out of the hands of his intended target.
Yeah, it's bringing up 3rd and 9.
He was looking to get it into the hands of Jeremiah Davis, the 5'10", 176-pound senior wide receiver.
And again, Bobby, I talked about this earlier, is this level of talent. This is such a great closing game to the 2023 regular season.
Isn't it,
for
though?
both programs. Lake Mary with a heartbreaking loss last week to Seminole. Mainland, undefeated up to this point. You got to look at their schedule. And, there's only really been a few teams that have tested them this year. This is a great test.
Yes, it is.
It's really gearing up for this playoff run because right now Mainland is a favorite. They're my favorite in 3S to win the state championship.
Here's Murray. Gets pressured, escapes.
Great escape.
A would-be tackler, and he's going to be forced out of play. Minimal loss on the play. Good pressure, though, as you saw nothing but white jerseys kind of move in unison.
Great discipline by number 23, Brad Billings, the junior defensive back. He plays defensive back and wide receiver for Lake Mary.
He made some plays last week.
Great discipline, keeping the guy in
did.
front of him and run him out of bounds.
Yeah.
And, again, sets up another punting position. And, again, did you even think that we would be talking about the defensive battle?
I didn't.
As much as we did, we set the tone for the game talking about how great these defenses have been this year.
Yep.
But to see them actually execute both programs, both defenses have been amazing tonight.
End-over-end kick right up the middle of the field.
Stay away from it.
Small Buccaneer bounce.
It stopped raining a little while ago, but the field's wet and still creates some of those slippery situations for both teams. But you're right. Lake Mary is going to take this ball back, get the ball here on the 32.
Yeah, 2:17, obviously, with a quarterback like Grubbs, and we saw how quickly they could score on the 60-yard touchdown pass earlier in the ball game. One play from the line of scrimmage, and they were taking it to the house. So 2 seconds is a lot of time for Lake Mary's offense when they're clicking. So once again, Mainland, can you stand up to the task once again and preserve the 10-0 scoreline leading into halftime? We shall see as Grubbs brings his Rams out on the field. 2 receivers split each way. Again, Thomas in the backfield. It's going to go to Thomas straight ahead. Escapes the tackler, gets to the second level at midfield. Bounces to the outside and a big gain all the way down to the 40 of the Buccaneers. And there's a big gashing play. Very similar to what he did last week against Seminole as the game progressed.
Yeah, great play call by offense coordinator Adam Donnelly of Lake Mary to set that up. And the running game is going to be crucial for both programs tonight. And Lake Mary's been able to get it squeak a few more than Mainland has here early on.
Twins each way again, and the handoff again goes to Thomas. This one's going to be met. Forward progress stops him, no gain, right at the 40. You got Hudson and McCray in there coming at you every play.
And we talked about defensive strategy, right? When you start moving safeties over because you're worried about a passing game, it opens up the middle. You just need 1 or 2 key blocks, and you get past that front 7, and that's what we saw there. So if you're watching this game at home, you want to watch the position safety of what these defenses do, and that kind of dictates what's going to happen in the running game.
Receivers stacked each side as the handoff comes to the near side. Thomas with some space makes a man miss as he falls across the 25-yard line. They're going to mark him out to 25.
They stopped the clock at 1:05 to move the sticks, and again, they're starting it right now. We got 1 minute left in the first half. Defense has got to stiffen up here to stop Lake Mary from scoring any points here before the halftime.
We're going to go to Thomas again, and again he's got room at the 20, at the 10, driving his way down to the 7-yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, and Isaiah Thomas, again, strong run right there. Great job by that offensive line getting out there. But, with 40 seconds, 39, do you kill timeout here? It looks like they want to control the tempo of that offense right now. That's why they're not calling a temp. They've got plenty of time, 30 seconds left. It looks like we got a timeout right now by Mainland. They want to slow things down and regroup.
We'll keep it here with just a little under 30 seconds to play in the first half, and we will take a pause for intermission. We'll keep the feed and the stream going so you can watch the bands perform at halftime. But again, you're watching the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, and we've got a good one here at Bethune-Cookman's Daytona Memorial Stadium. Mainland and Lake Mary. I'm B.A. Dan LaForest. We appreciate everybody tuning in on the Cure YouTube channel, thanks to the Quick Cut Sports Network. What about the All-Star team we have up here with Brian Kells and Joey Pletka, Mark Nusser on production? I mean,
Well, we've been working with Joey Pletka for a while. It's great to have him back.
Yes, it is.
Mark Nusser's done a wonderful job on the productions here the last few weeks. And Brian Kells, man, we got him back. He's been on the sideline over at Trinity Prep all season. He was head coach of at Orange City University for the last several years, and then he left this year. And I got papers flying all over the place. The breeze has really picked up. We got that sea breeze coming off the ocean here.
And, well, we really haven't talked about our perch for tonight's contest either. We're up on the open-air deck, 4th story here at Daytona Municipal Stadium. Bird's eye view. As Lake Mary comes back out of the timeout, they'll have trips to the left for Noah Grubbs. It'll be Henshaw, and Cook up there. Single receiver near side, Harshbarger. It'll be Isaiah Thomas in the backfield. Grubbs looking to throw, fires to the back corner.
That's
far
the matchup
side.
you want right there. They're going to call pass
Whoa!
interference. I don't know about that.
I'll be
that
honest.
looked like great coverage right there. But, we're so far up. Those officials saw something we didn't. But
he must have had a different angle. I'm looking at it through binoculars, and that looked pretty good to me.
That was great coverage. I'll tell you. He may have grabbed onto him at some point there, the break of that route. But
and those here. This is very important because those are the kind of breaks in a game like this situationally that you just can't give Lake Mary.
No, you can't give anything.
They don't need it.
This isn't about Lake Mary. This is about fundamental
anybody.
Defense, and you just can't do that.
Can't do it.
But, from what we're seeing up here, I thought it was amazing coverage. He could have gotten a little bit of jersey in that break. Like I said, when you're playing man coverage down here, you're on an island.
I want to see what Mainland's front will do right here defensively.
21 seconds left in the half.
First and goal. Grubbs looking to throw. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Rams.
And Noah Grubbs threw that off his back foot.
With ease. Harshbarger with the catch.
To watch a young quarterback like Noah Grubbs, we talk about him a lot, but, at the end of the day, you have to understand the pure talent that this kid has. And, again, I played the position, so when you see – I'm very critical of that position when I start looking at quarterbacks across the state. But to look at a kid like Noah Grubbs and see how he's progressed from his freshman year last year, he's playing as well as any senior in the state of Florida.
For his age, the composure for me has been the most fascinating thing to see. He just does not get rattled or shaken as the kick from Luke Shale is up and good. So with 16 seconds to play in the first half, Lake Mary increases their lead to 17-0 thanks to the right arm of Noah Grubbs, hooking up from 8 yards out to Harshbarger. And that was the first really truly sustained drive we've seen in the football game, Dan, from either team. Lake Mary was able to score and increase their lead right here. What a momentum snatcher before halftime.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I watched L.J. McCray come off the field. A little bit of a limp there, but, again, I love the warrior in him.
Sure.
It's going to take a lot to get him off the field as they regroup as a defense and take a look at that film of that last drive.
Once again, 16 seconds to play here, first half.
And again, want to give a lot of credit to Orlando Health and Tobacco-Free Florida and the Facts Now and the Orlando Sports Foundation for the opportunity for us to bring you the high school game of the week, the Cure All-Star game of the week.
Kickoff was short, fielded by one of the up men. Good hands, bringing it to the near side across the 40 to the 41. So that should take us to halftime in what has been an interesting game in terms of, and you said it perfectly, we came into this game so focused, and I'll admit, focused on offensively, Mainland being undefeated and Lake Mary coming off a loss, but being so offensively gifted, but it's turned out to be the battle of the defenses and which one has come through.
Yeah, and really we knew both defenses were going to play well. It was really who's going to be the most efficient on offense. And right now in the first half, Lake Mary's answered that question. At some point you have to understand certain offenses can't be stopped. You have to slow them down.
Sure.
I think Mainland's done a good job with slowing down Lake Mary's offense. On the other side of the ball, we'll talk about the keys of the second half, but Mainland's got to find a way to get their playmakers making plays.
Yes.
And we'll wait to see what Coach Travis Rowland does at the halftime with his adjustments. But
Dan, what do you think? If you're Travis Rowland, this is a big game for you. Obviously, as we've talked about, what would be your one objective that you would relay to your team that you wanted them to work on as we approach second half?
Well, with 8 seconds left, there's not a lot to work on going into halftime. I think coming out of halftime.
Coming out, yeah, that's what I mean.
That's. I think at the end of the day, I was going to talk about this as we came back into the second half, but I think you have to get Dennis Murray Jr. in a position to be in a run-pass option, a true one.
True.
You have to get him on the corner. You have to give him the ability to turn it upfield and use his legs. I think that's going to be key for Mainland coming back in the second half is how do you put Dennis Murray Jr. in a position to make plays?
Yep.
How do you get guys out into the space to make plays?
Sure.
They've got a great running back. They've got a big offensive line, but when you're in a stalemate with your competitor, and they're going to see this later on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How do you make that difference?
Trips top of the screen as Murray Jr. tries to go near side. It is batted out of bounds. A great play again by Lake Mary's Jamison Jean. He has done great things tonight from his position.
He's played extremely well playing against those wide receivers.
He has.
Again, you start taking a look at stuff like that. Lake Mary is looking like they're going to take a few risks. And, again, you got a game plan against that. You want to bait them into doing something like that, which creates a huge play for your offense.
Robinson has a ton of speed. He's able to make it across midfield. But unfortunately, the clock was not on the side of the Mainland Buccaneers, Dan, as we come to the end of the first half here in our Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health with a 17-0 scoreline. And again, a very interesting first half.
No doubt about it. I tell you what, this is a game we had circled on the calendar. We're very fortunate, the city of Daytona Beach and for Mainland High School to allow us to come out and cover this game tonight. And it's been everything that we thought it was going to be. Right now with Lake Mary up 17-0. I think Mainland's got to go back in there and figure out what are they going to do some of those things. We'll talk about that coming back in the second half. But What an exciting first half.
Awesome. We hope you stick around. There's going to be a lot more to come. Again, we're going to leave the feed going. The bands will perform at halftime. We will take an intermission and be back with you in about 20 minutes or so as we bring you the second half of our Cure All-Star Game of the Week exclusively on the Quick Cut Sports Network.
you took good notes because now it's time for the test. It's time to show you just why we're the baddest high school band in Volusia and Flagler County. It's something about M-Block. They just deem us superheroes. Just know we're guaranteed to show out anywhere. Don't forget we're the M-Block. We won this. Lake Mary, you can try again tomorrow. Just know that we can do this in our sleep with our eyes closed. And guess what? We also can do it with no hands. Ding, ding, ding! Time's up! The test is over. Mainland High School Band, we thank you. Bug Nation, I have been your announcer, Miss Bennett.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once again to the Quick Cut Sports Network. We are coming to you live from Daytona Municipal Stadium, home of Bethune-Cookman. Very happy to be bringing you the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, presented by Orlando Health. BA, Dan LaForest. Dan, we talked about what we saw in the first half and what adjustments obviously are going to be attempted to be made. And for Mainland, it really comes down to, can they unlock the Lake Mary defense, which we really didn't realize was going to be that much of an issue going in.
No doubt about it. And I think, we touched on it before the half is, what adjustments are these teams going to make? If I'm Lake Mary, I'm not making a whole lot of adjustments. I think their game plan's been solid. But, Lake Mary fans, you got to remember, we were sitting here at this situation, last week, right, when Sanford was down by 14 points. Lake Mary's got to finish. They got to finish strong. If you're Daytona Beach Mainland, like I talked about, Coach Rowland's going to go in there and he's going to talk about what they need to do to get playmakers into position to make plays.
Yeah.
You have to give credit to both defenses. I think both
100%.
defenses are playing extremely well. But 17-0, Mainland is not undefeated for a reason. They are a great football team, and they are gearing up. This is equally as important as any other game that they've played. I expect Mainland to come out hot here in the second half.
Yeah, I actually do as well. They're certainly not short of playmakers, and obviously one of the better defenses we've seen all year. Here's the opening third quarter kick coming right up the middle. Has some space across the 20, still on his feet, breaking across the 30. Great effort there to open up the second half for Mainland. On the return,
Bobby, before we get into this, I want to give a big shout-out to our friend Todd DeDoyer, with Quick Cut. If you guys aren't familiar with Quick Cut, they do a lot of great technology, a lot of great video clips and stuff regarding to all sports. But, he's up in Lake Mills, Wisconsin with his parents, George and Helen DeNoyer, watching the game. So we've got some views outside the state of Florida tonight for sure.
I love it. Todd, safe travels, and we are so happy that they are listening in tonight. Here's a handoff up the middle again. Robinson really nowhere to go. He's had one or two big bursts, but there just hasn't been a lot going on any play inside the tackle box.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. That we talked about that Mainland offensive line beginning of the game, that they're big and strong. They're much bigger than that Lake Mary defense. Again, Coach Rowland, I'm sure, has challenged that offensive line here in the second half. They have to get that running going. We also talked about the fact you've got to get Dennis Murray Jr. in space. So it's going to be exciting to see what they do.
Here's Murray looking to the outside. Catch made. Great move to get away from the first defender.
And that's great containment by that Lake Mary defense.
Yeah.
But again, get the ball to your playmakers. Let them play plays, and that has got to be what their main focus is going to be. And that's so far, that's what we see they're trying to do here coming out of the third quarter here. We're running down with just under 11 minutes.
And we've already seen them look toward their leading receiver, Clarence McLeod.
Set out 3rd and 7.
Big third down here
for Mainland.
Robinson out of the backfield as Murray looks to throw. He's going to be hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss all the way back down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
And I was trying to get a number there. It looked like
that is 18.
Number 18.
Called his name once earlier, John Scarelli. He had a great read on a running play in the first half and had a tackle for loss, and none bigger than that one there.
And it looked like a little bit of a delayed blitz, so that offensive line did not account for him coming up the middle.
So on 4th and 15.
Oh, bad snap.
And a miscue.
And that's a block punt. Lake Mary, touchdown.
Oh, an uncharacteristic mistake.
And that is the outside linebacker, Luke Preto. Unbelievable. Lake Mary with the special teams here starting the second half of this game.
Well, we talked about
this has got to be tough. This has got to be tough for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. They had the opportunity to start this third quarter with a nice drive. Down 17-0, but with that scoop and score on the mishandled snap on the punt attempt. That takes our scoreline 23-0 in favor of the Rams. Extra point pending from the leg of Luke Shale. Chip shot up and in. 24-0, Dan, and sometimes it's just bad things happen at the worst possible times, and that was one of those times right there for Mainland.
Yeah, unfortunately it was a bad snap. And again, you have to understand the field is extremely wet.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a rain shower here in the second quarter. But yeah, that's a tough break for the Mainland Bucks as they come out of halftime and to give up points right away.
So they will have an opportunity once more as they'll get the football back after the touchdown for Lake Mary.
Yeah.
We also want to thank the Orlando Sports Foundation. We're very happy to be a part of their mission to bring teams together to find a cure for cancer. They were part of the group that was put together to orchestrate this Cure All-Star Game of the Week, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. Also want to thank the Facts Now, a division of Tobacco Free Florida, spreading truth about smoking and vaping. Here's a kick fielded at about the 20. Coming right up the middle with it. Pyle moving, still moving, still on his feet. The whistle's blow, though. Gilliard was doing everything he could with a little help from his friends, but the whistles blow the play dead.
Yeah, I tell you what.
He still tried to get away, didn't he?
He's still trying to get away there at the end.
I love it.
And, that's what you want to see. You want to see those dogs fighting. And that's how plays are made, right? You just continue to fight.
Yeah, and again, you're playing for pride at this moment in this game. So I expect Mainland to claw and scratch and do everything they can. I'm just waiting on that moment as they're going to try a little something different here. They're going to direct snap right up the middle to your man, Rodney Hill, and you said you were going to look forward to when he was going to run a little QB. Well, here we go, Dan. And that goes for a big gain.
Now let's talk about a few other games around the area. How about Oviedo? Big rivalry game. Oviedo-Haggerty, the hometown showdown. Oviedo is up in the fourth quarter, 41-7.
Hill again with the direct snap right up the middle. Gets across the 45 out to the 47. That'll be a first down and move the chains.
Another big rivalry game in Orlando. Edgewater and Boone, the battle of the barrel. Edgewater's up 21-14 in the third. How about New Smyrna Beach playing at Tallahassee Leon? Right now the Kudas are up 26-21. Winter Park and Lake Brantley, the Wildcats are in control of that game, 41-24.
Timeout called with 9:09 to play here in the third period.
All eyes have been on the Masters Academy this season with the new head coach, Garrett Kruzik. They're in the SSAC playoffs. Winner of this game plays in the SSAA championship next week. Masters is up 34-28 right now in the third against Zarapath. Matanzas up 13-0 on Winter Springs and DeLand against Palm Coast, Flagler Palm Coast. DeLand is up. The Bulldogs are rolling 50-23. Also another big game, man. Vieira and Titusville. Titusville's had an outstanding season. They're tied at 28.
No, that's a good matchup.
We'll check in with some more scores later on in the game.
Here we go. They're going to keep it in the hands of Hill as they should, and he's going to get across midfield.
Go a little Wildcat.
Yeah, fight his way to the 48-yard line of the Rams. And, after seeing what I've seen the last three plays, I'm surprised we didn't try some of that in the first half.
Well, listen,
you?
At the end of the day, your game plan has to be adjusted at some point.
That's true.
At some point, you have to understand that you have to stick with what you have game planned for. Rodney Hill, we've talked about him on the defensive side of the ball. I mentioned him at the beginning of the game. We're going to see him as a running back. Right now, they are physically going after Lake Mary, and that's
Absolutely.
what they have to do.
That's that grit and that's that fight that we know is there at an 8-0 clip this season. And here we go again, another first down, this time inside the 40 to the 38.
You see a guy like Rodney Hill. You go into the Wildcat, you have one more blocker.
Yep.
And you've got a guy that can literally put his head down, and that's what we've seen. Looks like they're going to continue the Wildcat with another.
Yeah, Robinson's going to try it this time.
Kamari Robinson.
That's going to be, looks to be against Mainland, but we'll see.
And we talked about it beginning of the game. What are the 3 key factors? Penalties, turnovers, and big plays. And right now, Mainland is trying to control that segment with the big plays, the big, strong, physical plays here, and try to get this momentum going. Wait to see what's going on here. Kamari comes off to the sideline.
And you've seen on this drive.
Looks like it's against Lake Mary.
Oh, there we go. So that's going to be a nice little gift here and make it 1st and 5. And we've seen this push.
Clock's down to 8:26. They'll start that going here any second.
So it's going to be.
Go on the whistle, the referee. They'll blow the whistle right now. Clock is ticking.
Kamani Robinson again with the direct snap. He'll run to the near side, and he's going to be hit. Bottled up. And they're going to mark him for a loss of about 3 yards.
And 2 different running styles we're seeing here. Kamari's looking for a hole. Rodney Hill makes his own hole. So, if the holes aren't there, Kamari's trying to figure out where he's going to wedge into. And right now, that's not working because Lake Mary is very disciplined with the flow of that offense right now. But here comes Rodney Hill back in.
Yep. Needed a little water break himself. He's going to.
Yeah. 2nd and 8.
Step back in.
It's coming. Different. Here comes the freight train.
Yeah, look at the adjustments. But a great adjustment defensively by Lake Mary. They said, nope, not this time.
That was number 31. What a hit.
Eli Straker.
He did not play last week.
He did not play last week. He
was
a little shaken up, I think.
Number 5,
if I remember correctly. Another high-level recruit for this Lake Mary team. As now Murray steps back in. He'll have Kamani Robinson in the backfield with him as 2 receivers will line up to the near side. Murray rolls to the near side, tosses it out of the backfield, and that's just an unfortunate drop as he tried to just toss it to McCants.
So the question is, with 4th and 8 right now, does Mainland go for this, being down 24-0 with 6:50 left in the 3rd quarter? They're on the positive side of the 50-yard line.
Well, I think if you do go for it, you have to put it in the hands of Hill, but it looks like they're going to leave Murray out there. He'll stand in the backfield alone. They'll send 3 receivers top of the screen.
You're asking a lot in the Wildcat with 4th and 8.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to have to try to do something here. My question is, do you get Dennis Murray-Jury on the corner here and give him that option? And it looks like they're going to drop back to pass.
He fires it over the top, and that's going to be broken up. Good defense.
Great play
on the back end. That was Justin Batillo. Junior cornerback for Lake Mary, and that'll be a turnover on downs, and the Rams will get the football back with 6:46 to play here in the 3rd. And that was almost everything you would want to see out of a Mainland offense tonight, a sustained drive that ate up a bunch of clock. Unfortunately, there was just, a drop, and a couple of things didn't go their way, a loss, a great defensive play by Straker. Drive fizzles out.
No doubt about it.
Tough.
You're going to ask a lot of that Mainland defense right now to slow down this Lake Mary offense.
Here's a handoff to Isaiah Thomas, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down.
Lost about a yard there. We're sitting at 2nd and 11.
L.J. McCray, first one there. He had help from
There's a shocker.
He had help from Myron Schaefer.
There's a shocker. L.J. McCray in on the tackle.
Right.
But, if I'm Lake Mary, you want to control the clock in the second half, and you want to run Isaiah Thomas as much as possible. But, they're going back to those stack wide receivers. They're trying to open up the middle of the field again.
2nd down and 10. Handoff
And there it
to
is.
Thomas. He's drugged out from behind, and a flag comes in on the near side at the numbers.
Yeah, and you wonder if that's a holding penalty or a face mask. We'll see what the official's going to read here.
Okay, here comes the explanation. Horse collar tackle is the call.
That's going to get Lake Mary across the 50, automatic first down,
And
with
another
6:06 left in the third quarter.
Just a tough break for Mainland.
Yeah.
Giving Lake Mary 1st and 10 inside Mainland territory. 2 players in the backfield with Grubbs this time. They're going to give it to the second man through, Jason Soto.
That was number 12 on the carry for Lake Mary.
Junior running back, Jason Soto, with a quick burst there.
It's going to set up about 2nd and 6 for that Lake Mary offense. And again, control. They got 2 backs in the backfield with Grubbs, 3 wide receivers. No plan.
Same play.
Playoff.
This time Mainland reads it.
Number 19 with a great tackle for Mainland. And that is Bubba Westbrook.
Yep.
Sophomore. Again, great size. 6 foot, 160 pounds. Exciting future ahead for him.
Yeah, good looking
That was
player
a great
there.
tackle.
That's a couple of those plays. They need to string a few of those together and get some momentum.
But we talked about the class of 2025, class of 2026, how much talent we're going to be talking about here over the next couple of years. And he's definitely going to be part of that equation.
Here's Grubbs, sends a laser across the middle, but it is incomplete.
Trying to get Isaiah Thomas. That was great defense right there.
That's an aspect of Thomas's game that Lake Mary used to expose Seminole a little bit last week as that game wore on, as that was hitting Thomas out of the backfield for a big chunk.
And here's the thing about Isaiah Thomas, and we've talked about this last few weeks. Balin Trujillo and I have talked about this, is the kid doesn't have any offers in his senior year, and he is a dynamic player. He can run the ball. He's great out of the backfield. Somebody is going to pick him up late, and
you can't.
They're going to get one heck of a player.
You can't tell me there's not a place for that young man.
Well, that's what the Cure All-Star Game is for.
That's right. Here is another punt by Grubbs. This one checks up at the
Nice.
5. Great play for special teams, or the offense on special teams.
They're going to down that right there at the 4.5-yard line. Looks like they're spotted at the 4. That's going to be a long field for the Mainland Bucks to get this offense going.
Yes, it is. With that, we will take a quick break. 24-0 our score, Lake Mary over Mainland. You're watching the Cure All-Star Game of the Week right here on the Quick Cut Sports Network.
Join us Saturday, December the 16th for the 2023 Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. Come join the home team in Orlando as it's Orlando versus Cancer. Meet us in the rocking FEC Mortgage Stadium for a football and fun-filled game. This field will be full of amazing highlights that help us raise funds and awareness for cancer research. There are entertaining events and a top-tier football game to wrap up our entire bowl week. Join the home team and get your tickets today at curebowl.com. That's curebowl.com.
Welcome back into the Quick Cut Sports Network as Lake Mary holds a 24-0 lead and have just pinned the Buccaneers of Mainland very deep in their own territory at the 4-yard line. That's where they'll have it. 1st and 10 here on this drive with a little over 4 minutes to play.
Ooh.
And that was nearly picked off.
Emerald Gant sitting in a great position for that interception. And we saw, the Mainland offensive set there. They're trying to get a couple tight ends into the game, try to get some things going over the middle there, run the ball a little bit more effectively. I think it was what they're trying to do. At some point here, we may see L.J. McCray coming in at tight end. That's where he played the majority last year. We've seen him during the season come in.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see L.J. come in on the offensive side of the ball.
Here's a great defensive play. A quick hitter batted out of the air. Prito's been fantastic tonight.
You know what? Luke Prito right now is working toward player of the game. And
knew where you were going.
He has definitely had one outstanding game. He has flied around the field. He has
those
made
little
plays.
things.
It's little things, man. It's
so valuable to quality teams to have a guy that's just going to do those things without being asked.
That's 3rd and 10. We got 4:15 left in the third quarter.
Going back to Prito as well, that is 2 opportunities that he and Gant have had that could have been pick sixes.
Yeah.
Easily pick sixes as this play goes for naught. Yeah. Whistles stop it, forward
job
progress.
By the Lake Mary defense swarming on that. It's going to set up 4th down, punting situation for the Bucks again, and unfortunately give the Lake Mary offense some great field position as the clock continues to tick down to 4 minutes. And, guys, I know you're watching a game. We don't have a clock on the screen. We're going to try to give you the time as quickly as possible.
Yeah, this is fun, what we're doing with the Quick Cut Sports Network, because we're taking the opportunity to build this the way we want it with input. And we love it, and we appreciate people tuning in for sure. This is brand new. Here's a better punt after the miscue led to the touchdown last time. This one's going to be end over end and take a good Mainland bounce across midfield all the way down to the 46.
I want to encourage everybody, too, December 16th, you see the commercials run, the Cure Bowl is going to be at FBC Morgan Stadium on the campus of UCF. And we've had some great matchups in the last few years, man. We've had Coastal Carolina come in, Liberty. I know we're looking hard at Marshall, Appy State.
Yes.
The selection committee's out looking at games right now. It's great Group of 5 football. And I tell you what.
Very popular game.
It's very popular. And at the end of the day, guys, there isn't anybody, I don't care who you are, that has not been affected by cancer.
Yeah.
And to have these programs raising money to find a cure, it's going to benefit all of us.
Yes, indeed it is, and we're certainly proud to be a part of it. Here's Lake Mary on offense again. Handoff goes to Thomas. Good read by Mainland as he is drugged down for a loss of about 3 yards.
And that is number 6. Looks like Dennis King III, another sophomore, 6'2", 195.
Yeah.
He's going to put on some size here over the next several months as we come to the end of the regular season. Playoffs start next week. Again, the FHSAA will be releasing the brackets Sunday morning, I believe at 10 o'clock. You can catch me and Josh Wilson and Larry Bluestein and Irish Bill Hamill go to FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com YouTube channel. I think at 6 o'clock we're going to be breaking down those playoff matchups all over the state. Check us out. We're going to have great commentary. Obviously, any time that I get on the screen with Larry Bluestein, we're going to have some fun. But Josh Wilson with FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com is putting this together, and he's done such an amazing job over the past decade and a half covering high school football across the state of Florida.
And excellent coverage on girls flag football as well. I love that he makes that a priority. As
he does a great job.
He does.
That.
He really does.
Also, I want to give a big shout out to Will Detter with FHS 77, what he's done to provide off-season programs for these coaches and players to work together. There's so many 7-on-7 outlets and to keep your team together and give you extra momentum looking at the following season.
3rd down and about 13 as Grubbs drops back, looks to throw, fires far side, and that ball is going to be batted down. Harshbarger did well to turn and come back after it, but once again, excellent coverage downfield by Westbrook.
Yeah.
That's twice here in the second half that he has been instrumental in killing a Lake Mary drive.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was great one-on-one coverage, and he was step for step and, got his head around Harshbarger tried to make a play on that, but that was outstanding coverage. There's a lot of talent on this Mainland defense.
Yeah, there really is. Gilliard will be back deep to receive the punt here. He'll stand just inside his own 20.
Nice punt. Nice punt.
Good punt end over end. Checks
it's
up.
It's going to die, man. I
Yep,
tell you, that
it does.
wet
It
field,
checked up.
it's going to die out. Hit that 9-iron. It's sat pretty.
Yep. That'll be 1st and 10. Mainland at the 24. We'll see what they can do on this drive.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 16 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yeah, our score 24-0 here on the Cure All-Star Game of the Week. We'll take this opportunity to say thank you to some of the folks who have made this possible. The Facts Now, a division of Tobacco-Free Florida, dedicated to spreading the facts and the truths about smoking and vaping, and also the Orlando Sports Foundation. We're very proud and honored to be part of their mission, bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. And, of course, our title sponsor, Orlando Health, as part of the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, presented by Orlando Health. Mainland comes back out on offense under the direction of Murray again, Dennis Murray Jr. And this offense has really been held tightly in check so far. We'll see what they can do here on this keeper as Murray elects to try to surge forward. He'll gain about 2 yards, make it 2nd and 8.
You know, Bobby, every one of these teams right now, they're gearing, their eyes are set on Tallahassee. You know, Tallahassee's where all of the FHSA state championship games are going to be played. They did make a change this year. They're all going to be played in 1 week. And that's going to be up at FAMU Stadium up there. And that's where both of these teams want to be. They want to be in their respective state championship games. And
trips to the near side. Murray, pressure comes, rolls to the near side. And he's going to end up being pushed out of bounds as he gets to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about coverage. Lake Mary did a wonderful job there.
No gain, 3rd and 8.
Dennis Murray comes around. He's looking to see who's open, who's going to be able to break there, and there was nothing downfield. And you got to give credit to that Lake Mary secondary. 3rd down and 8 with 1:30 left in the third quarter.
Still plenty of time left. I mean, listen, there's plenty of time for Mainland to settle in and put a couple of drives together and get to the end zone. It's just a matter of changing it up a little bit. A little motion this time. Murray is going to be wrapped up, and he's going to be dropped. Another sack.
Number 18 for Lake Mary.
18 and 22 in on the stop. Got John Scarelli again and Aris Martin. Scarelli's been everywhere.
I tell you what. That is a really good job getting pressure on.
And listen,
Dennis
when he's
Murray
gotten
Jr.
pressure, Dan, he's come completely unabated. There hasn't been anybody in his way when he has gotten in the backfield.
Nah. Again, you've got to give a lot of praise to this Lake Mary defense against this Mainland offense tonight.
So here is another tough situation to be punting out of for Mainland. With Gavin Greathouse.
Barely gets it off, but does. It looks like you got a Mainland bounce. Touches a Mainland player, so that's going to be back at the third. Looks like about 38.
Yep.
About 37, 38-yard line, or the 42-yard line.
Great punt.
That was a good job keeping your composure, getting that ball off your foot. That could have been blocked very easily.
Well, especially having already had one blocked and in a very similar situation in the shadows of his own goalpost.
Yeah, kickers are human too, man. Yeah. They remember that kind of stuff. So you got to give that young man a lot of credit for getting that out of there.
Yep. Our score, once again, 24-0. Lake Mary in control, and they will come back out on offense after the Rams' defense once again.
Getting a lot of static from the whole speaker system around us. So if we're
many apologies. That is certainly not ours.
Turn it down, turn it off.
That is coming out of the PA system here at Municipal.
Oh, man, they moved LJ McCray on the inside. They're going to try to create havoc.
Thomas goes for about 2. Be 2nd and 8 for the Rams.
you know, setting up your offense, a lot of quarterbacks have the ability to go opposite. So if you're going to run to the right, you could go opposite and go to the left. And I'm wondering if the game plan is if L.J. McCray is on the right-hand side, you go opposite and run to the left, and vice versa, because he is such a force. But they moved him off the edge. They've got him inside to create some havoc on that Lake Mary offense.
Well, that's what makes him so
there it is. That's
vital to that team. Into the third, 24-0 our score. Stick around. Fourth and final quarter coming up right here on the Cure All-Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Orlando Health. This is the Cure, or the Quick Cut Sports Network.
Hey, Curie, you're clear.
Vamos.
This is incredible. Curie Bello looks 100% as she passes through the Leading Edge Rehab Center. Our surgeons aren't the only ones honing their skills today. 7 floors dedicated exclusively to orthopedics and spine, and she can't be stopped on any of them. Just the goalie to beat. But wait.
Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute. Choose well.
Welcome back. Quick Cut Sports Network, 24-0. Lake Mary with the lead and the football. Here's Grubbs looking to throw. And wide receiver went inside, throw went outside. Incomplete, looking for Harshbarger.
And again,
second and 10.
Mature decision by Noah Grubbs to understand there's nothing there. Put it out high and long.
Yep.
Regroup, replay. You got
so many more opportunities.
Checking to see there. Yeah, there we go. 3rd and 8.
Yep.
With 11:53 left in the game.
3rd and 8. Line of scrimmage is the 48-yard line of the Rams.
Trips to the bottom of the screen here, so I'd expect a running play here.
Grubbs drops back. Fires over the top. Flags come in.
Pass interference.
Yeah. Henshaw, the intended target, was tripped up. And we've also got a Buccaneer slow to get up across the middle. I think there was maybe a collision there.
They're calling them out.
Yeah. So we'll take a break as they tend to the downed Buccaneer. 24-0 our score. We'll take a break. Back in a moment right here on the Quick Cut Sports Network.
The Cure Bowl is special because it's bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. And it's teams of people, volunteers, sponsors, and then certainly our teams that play on the field.
And I think what people really need to understand very clearly is that every single seat in that stadium is part of something really, really big.
We are a team going after a cause, looking to win the battle, looking to help win this battle. And I think that has been just a blessing for me to be a part of.
You know, I can either sit there and be a victim of the disease, or I can be an advocate and help create hope and awareness.
I am a part of it for a reason, and I am convinced that one day we will be able to see the fruits of our labor and say that we have found a cure for cancer.
Welcome back into the Quick Cut Sports Network as we took pause to tend to the injured Mainland Buccaneer. That was Elijah Gilliard, very instrumental in the return game tonight. Looks like he just may have been shaken up as he got tangled up with Henshaw and hit the ground.
Yeah, and that's all it was.
Yep.
You know, unfortunately, it was called pass interference, but they both really kind of got tangled up on it. And I'm just happy to see him walking off on his own.
Yep, absolutely right. He laid still for longer than you would always like to see when you're up here.
I mean, anytime you see a young man go down,
it's tough.
And these are tough kids, man. I've seen some injuries where they walk off, and you're like, what are you doing?
All right, 1st and 10 for the Rams. Grubbs drops back. He had trips to the near side, looks, fires over the middle, and just over the extended hands of Chase Henshaw, the younger of the Henshaw gentlemen.
Yeah, and, you know, it looked like Noah was trying to time that up, and Mainland's defense did a good job kind of slowing him coming out of that route. So it kind of threw off the timing there of the passing game there for the Rams. But, 11:41 left in this game.
Yeah, he was under some pressure, and it just looked like it just made him feel like he had to throw it too hard.
Which brings up 2nd and 10.
Trips to the near side again. Single receiver. Top of the screen is Chase Henshaw. Handoff goes to Thomas, and he's going to be wrapped up, fights his way for a couple of yards, which will bring up 3rd and 9.
And that's a great job by the Mainland defense to hold their own and keep containment there. You're going to expect Lake Mary to run the ball as much as they can here with 11-18 and counting to kill some of this clock up by 24 points.
Lake Mary's going to put Jason Soto in the backfield.
Like they're checking with Coach Donnelly on the sideline.
Henshaw solo up top again. Trips near side. Handoff goes to Soto. Trying to get the edge this way, and he's going to be ran down from behind. Guess who? Rodney Hill, of course. He's so good, so talented. Anywhere you put him.
I tell you, Rodney Hill is going to be exciting to watch at the next level, and to watch, these Mainland Buccaneers in the playoffs. I mean, we keep talking about how well these guys have played this season, and, Mainland's looking like they're heading to their first loss, but you have to give credit. It's tough to go undefeated at the high school level, and Lake Mary found that out last week.
Well, especially here. My goodness.
It just gives a lot of credit to what both coaching staffs have done with their kids this year.
4th down and about 7 for Grubbs. Receiver stacked both sides. Throws it off his back leg again. This time he puts it in the basket. Touchdown, Lake Mary.
And right there, you saw the arm strength of Noah Grubbs. Again.
37-yard
He had
strike.
pressure in his face. He threw it off balance and put it on the money. Caden Harshbarger. And again, you talk about exciting receivers. Caden Harshbarger, the lacrosse player, has just absolutely done his job tonight. And, you look at that against that coverage. It doesn't get any prettier. I don't care who you are.
How about this? 3 touchdown catches tonight, 1 for 60, 1 for 8, 1 for 38.
Changes the dynamic.
Yes, it does.
Changes the dynamic.
Harshbarger's been the catalyst for the offense for Lake Mary tonight. Henshaw was a week ago in the game against Seminole, so that shows you how many weapons Grubbs has at his disposal as Luke Shell steps on to attempt another extra point with the left leg. It's up, and it is good. Our score now 31-0 in favor of the Rams of Lake Mary, as Mainland will get the football back with 10 minutes to play here in the final quarter.
No doubt about it. And, again, this is what high school football is all about. And both of these teams are going to come away from tonight with a level of respect for not only each other, but a lot of confidence as they head into the first round of the playoffs next Friday night.
And a team like Mainland, you look at this game to end the regular season with the first loss of the year for them, and I kind of expect it to do nothing but kind of give them a fire, light that spark and get that fire stoked as you move into the playoffs. And I'd hate to be the next team that faces Mainland, I'll be honest.
Well, when you're talking about the game of football, you're talking about life. Humility plays a great role into your success. And, I tell you what, I think Lake Mary showing what happened last week, created a practice environment to get ready for this Mainland program tonight. Sure. And I expect Coach Rowland and his staff to have these Buccaneers tuned in this week, ready for that first round of the playoffs. We got 10:03 left in this fourth quarter, and listen, it is what it is, and you can't. Sometimes it's, you got two programs like this, it comes back to again the simplicity of the game. We saw a number of penalties tonight. We saw the turnovers. But we saw the plays, the big plays have really been made by the Lake Mary Rams.
Yeah, they have. That was something you keyed in on very early on in a key to the game, and it has developed right in front of us as that's been the difference, and it's been with the arm of Noah Grubbs and the hands of Caden Harshbarger.
Yeah.
But another takeaway for me is the grit that the Mainland defense have shown, because they've been in several tough spots tonight and have stopped Lake Mary's offense more times than they've allowed them to score.
No doubt about it.
Regardless of a 31-0 scoreline.
Yeah, don't let this score fool you. There's only so much your defense can do when you're on the field all night.
Sure.
But again, we're seeing some great performance here by some key individuals, and we're going to continue to be calling their name because they make that difference.
Corey Hill will be lined up in the backfield for the Buccaneers. Wears number 12. They'll split 2 receivers each way for Mr. Dennis Murray Jr. And folks, as you said, Dan, it is what it is tonight. They ran into a very stout Lake Mary defense, and we have not seen the Dennis Murphy that we know has led this team to until tonight an 8-0 record.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's a sensational leader for this team. There's no question. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 here. Ball spotted right at the 40. Hill is going to stay in there in the backfield with Murray. Looks like they're going to send trips up top to Murray's right.
And again, if you're fans of Lake Mary, you're fans of Mainland, understand that they will not meet in the playoffs because they're 2 different classifications. But if you're a Mainland Buccaneer fan, you've got to be excited because they are still the favorite, in my opinion, to win the 3S state championship game in Tallahassee.
I would agree.
If you're a Lake Mary fan, you've got to be excited about the way your teams play tonight against this Mainland defense, this Mainland team in general. Because Lake Mary's defense has done a wonderful job, too, against this Mainland offense. But you got to be excited. I know that a lot of Lake Mary fans are holding their breath for a possible rematch with those Sanford Seminoles here in a few weeks. A lot of football's got to be played. And,
that is true.
Check out Balin and I this Wednesday on the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about our area teams. We're going to give our Dudes of the Week.
Yep.
And Balin's predictions. So, you can go to Dan LaForest Football on YouTube, subscribe and get ready because Wednesday at 8 o'clock will be our next show. We're going to have Josh Vasquez from Big Hits Live join us, and I tell you, he's done a wonderful job covering high school football around the area.
That'll be a good one. We're
going to have Josh Vasquez on, and then I'll probably have a surprise other media guest on. I haven't decided who I'm going to have on yet, but we'll definitely have some fun with that. And, of course, all of Central Florida loves to hear Balin's predictions.
Wow, yeah. 1st and 10 for the Rams at their own 40. And listen, something else that I was looking forward to seeing is how is Lake Mary going to respond coming off of not only a loss but an emotional loss.
Yeah.
A fourth quarter come from behind loss.
Yeah.
And that takes its toll too, and they've responded brilliantly.
Yeah, and
here's a running play right at the middle, Corey. That was Soto again on the carry.
And that 4M District 1, we talk about it all year long.
Penalty marker comes in way late, a little extracurricular activity here on the near sideline.
John Santucci of the USA Today calls them the District of Death with Lake Mary and Seminole and Apopka, who's been in the state championship 3 of the last 4 years. Apopka's in the playoffs. What does Apopka do? They've struggled with injuries and youth this year, and but Jeff Rolson, one of the great coaches here in Central Florida, if not definitely the state of Florida. What does he do with the Blue Darters? They're playing Wekiva tonight, looking for some scores here in a minute. But, you've got great football here in Volusia County. You have to say a lot for Rick Darlington and the DeLand Bulldogs. They've done a good job. We were talking about that score earlier. Lester Davis takes over at Seabreeze.
Yeah.
And what he's done this year to kind of recharge that Seabreeze program. Andy Price over at Spruce Creek. Spruce Creek's had a heck of a year this year. Orange City University. Orange City with Jason Roberts has done a great job as his first year, taking over for Brian Kells, who's part of our production staff tonight. A lot of great football here in Volusia County, and it needs to be celebrated a little bit more as well.
Well, that's one of the reasons we are so happy to be able to bring another Cure All-Star game into the mix that does just that and features Volusia County as rightfully they should be.
And Battle of the Barrel, man. Edgewater's pulling away, 42-14 over Boone.
2nd down and 11 for the Rams of Lake Mary.
And then we talk about one of the
Soto in the backfield. Nowhere to go there. Met, dropped, maybe a gain of 1. It's going to be 3rd and 10 to go.
And one of the great coaches in Central Florida for years, John Wilkinson, New Smyrna Beach Cudas. They're in a battle right now. They're up in Tallahassee playing Leon. The Cudas are up 41-37 in the 4th quarter. Matanzas still reported at 13-0 over Winter Springs. And then we have a final with a hometown showdown. Oviedo beats Haggerty 48-14. And we have a final. Masters Academy wins their playoff game in the SSAA 47-36 over Zero Path. A big shout out to Freedom with their big win over University 35-17. DeLand final 58-23 over Flagler Palm Coast.
Big play by Rodney Hill there to drop Soto for a loss. That'll bring up 4th and 12 for Lake Mary.
We talk about Brevard County, man. Titusville, they end up 9-1 with their win over Vieira, 35-28.
Of course, you got Cocoa, an extraordinarily talented team this year.
Cocoa is just ridiculous.
They are.
Good.
They certainly are. Another favorite to win a state championship.
Now, you talk about a final. This is another huge rivalry game. Apopka and Wekiva for the Mayor's Cup in Apopka. Apopka wins that game 29-28.
Ooh, what a game. What a game.
The Blue Darters.
Shale was back deep, ready to send this one away, but a timeout is going to be, they call a timeout? Yep, timeout Mainland.
The Blue Darters finished 7-3 heading into the playoffs. What does that do for the final standings for the playoff matchups?
Yeah, you said it several times tonight, and no truer words have been spoken, especially this time of year with all the implications that could find their way into the mix. There's a lot of football to be played.
There's a lot of football.
A lot of football to be played. A lot of things could happen, and as you've talked about, the potential rematch, as you said, Lake Mary fans holding their breath as they might see Sanford Seminole again in a couple of weeks if things go as planned. Do they ever, though, at this time of year?
Yeah, I tell you, I put out a video tribute today. I just wanted to thank all the seniors across the state of Florida that tonight is their last game.
Yes.
That they'll never play the game, and I just thank them for their care and passion for the game that I love and we all love.
Yep.
But
listen, different sport, different time. One of the toughest moments of my life as a parent was watching my daughter play her last game as a soccer player at a high level, and it was tough.
Man, football moms,
emotional.
Football moms are extremely emotional.
Yeah, they are.
And
it's
God
the babies,
love them.
that's their boys, you know.
And also I want to give a big shout out to the football wives.
Yeah.
There is nothing like a football wife because what these coaches actually, the time that they put into these young people, it's unfathomable. And, that's part of my mission, too, is that, bringing even more awareness of the dismal pay that our coaches are being paid across the state of Florida for what the time they put in. I mean, they're basically making pennies on the dollar as far as per hour.
Hourly, yeah.
It's almost ridiculous. Football, you look at so many sports, but football is the only year-round sport that that's out there. You have other sports that have AAU and off-season and all this other. Football is year-round, man. When they end this thing in the third week of December, they're back at it 1st of January.
As a team.
They're back at it, man. Weightlifting and conditioning, and these kids go off to camps and they go through training and they get with trainers. And
sevens. And
there is a commitment from not only these students but also those parents.
Yeah, sports are year-round. Sport is year-round. Pick one, really.
Well, all sports are year-round, but, again,
football
there is no AAU football.
True.
These coaches are with them 12 months out of the year.
Yeah. For several years of their life. 6:03 on the clock, fourth quarter, 31-0, Lake Mary with the lead. Mainland gets the football back, unfortunately.
6:03 left in this game.
1st and 10 line of scrimmage is going to be the 8 for the Buccaneers, and they'll have Murray back out there once more. He'll be joined by Hill in the backfield. We've seen Hill on the last two possessions. This pass play gets
great
caught.
job by number 25 for Lake Mary.
That's Jean again. Jamison Jean has been everywhere.
I can tell you right now, it is always a matchup when you've got a guy with a ball and the defender is all alone, and he was there.
And he's
he made
going
that
up
tackle
against as high quality a wide receiver as you're going to see in Clarence McLeod.
Absolutely.
This time it's going to be a handoff to Hill, and he is going to be bottled up and dropped. They'll give him the 12-yard line with progress, but those holes collapsed very quickly.
And that was number 56, Patrick Ryan, and B.A., another sophomore, that linebacker on the stop.
It's been very eye-opening over the past 4 weeks since we've been doing this.
As a high school analyst, and what I try to figure out every year is who's Mainland going to be next year.
Yeah.
We get to the spring, it's who is Mainland, who is Lake Mary, because they graduate so many seniors, so many key players.
Yep.
And a lot of times they're not playing as much because of key players in front of them. And all of a sudden you get guys to step up.
Beautiful pass over the middle that goes in and out of the hands of the intended target.
Yeah, that was
defense was there.
33, Chris Rivera.
Yeah, Rivera. Haven't heard his name called much.
Yeah, senior.
Good route.
Just could not. Great route. I mean, it was there. Just could not come down with it. And unfortunately sets up fourth down, another punting situation for the Bucks.
So once again, we see Logan Cook ready to bring the punt back.
4:40 left in this game. I expect Lake Mary to kill at least 2.5 minutes of that with this next possession.
Oh, another miscue as
there's a safety.
Yeah, as the ball goes through the hands of the punter, he wisely does the right thing and kicks it out of play out of the back of the end zone.
You can't give him the touchdown.
Yeah,
that was a smart play.
And you hate it for Mainland because you know that is, again, very uncharacteristic of what you've seen out of the Buccaneers this entire season.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah, I mean, this is something they're going to have to go back and watch some film and learn from this experience because, again, a lot of football left. And to remember, you are the Mainland Buccaneers, and you did have an amazing season. And you've got to get ready for the playoffs because it's win or go home.
Yeah, we're here. We are here.
We're here.
Believe it or not.
We're here.
It's here. And it's amazing.
Welcome to playoff football.
It's amazing.
What a great test for both programs. I've said this the whole game long. What a great test for both programs getting ready for the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, listen, I can tell you right now, both coaches are looking at their injury report.
Oh, sure.
And if they can walk out here with limited injuries, then you've set the bar for what next week looks like.
Yeah. Here we go, 4:36 remains in the contest, and Lake Mary in control. They'll get it back again. Safety makes it 33-0. Again, an uncharacteristic mistake.
We're going to keep track of that clock as much as possible.
Yeah,
right
we
now
are.
it's 4:36 showing on the clock. We're going to keep that updated every breath here so that everybody at home knows how much time's left.
Yeah. Here's the kick. It's
He's
going to be
down. He's down.
Yep.
He's down. He's down.
Fielded near side.
He's down. That knocks off about 6 seconds. So you got about 4:30 left in the game. And Lake Mary is going to do everything they can to knock off as much time as they can with this possession.
Yeah, they'll get some last-minute instruction.
A question here, too, is Lake Mary get some younger players in. Give your starters a rest with 4 minutes left.
That was Demonier White. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Demonier White on the return for Lake Mary.
No, looks like we got a quarterback change.
Yeah, we do. It's going to be Chase Henshaw.
Chase Henshaw, we saw him a little bit tonight at the wide receiver position. He's going to come in. Noah Grubbs is done for the night.
Check 48 in the backfield.
Two-back set.
Yep.
3 wide receivers, handed off up the middle. And there's that tough, stout Mainland defense putting a stop to that.
Yeah, again, you got McCray in the mix every play, not to mention Hudson in there. I mean, they've got studs, man. It's just Lake Mary kind of firing on all cylinders tonight in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, they're just going to milk this clock coming out on 4 minutes.
2nd and 11 for the Rams. Line of scrimmage, the 26-yard line. Oh, 24. I was right the first time.
But what a job Coach Rowland and his staff have done this season. I mean, like I said, if you're a Mainland Buccaneer fan right now, you better be excited, be thankful.
You have to be, don't you?
Grateful for the time they've done and the season they've had. To finish the regular season 9-1 is amazing.
Yeah.
And really what I expect for them to do here over the next several weeks. Make no mistake, the Mainland Bucks are a program to deal with here in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really exciting to see how it's going to play out. And, man, some of the matchups that are going to be presented, hopefully.
And if you're a Lake Mary Ram fan, what a season they've had.
Oh, my God. Yes.
You know, that game last week on the road was one for the ages.
It really was. And this crusade for them this year started last year.
Yeah, it really did.
It started last year.
You know, Coach Scott Perry and his staff have done a remarkable job putting everything in place. And, you know, we've seen one of the most efficient offenses in the state of Florida operate all year long and put up huge numbers.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and very well balanced. You know, there's so much attention to the passing game early on this season, but you have to give credit to the coaching staff to really put these guys in a good position. As we see Henshaw take it up the middle there, and that's what you can do with an athletic quarterback there is to
That's very different than what we're used to seeing. Grubbs out there, complete pocket passer, and then now Chase
we're
Henshaw.
sitting at 2:36 left in the game.
You said 2 minutes, trying to drag it out.
Yeah.
Brings up 4th and 6.
2 minutes off the clock. Mainland will get the ball back with about 2 minutes left in this game.
Yep.
And
with certainly the skill set to make something happen. On the return will be Bubba Westbrook. He'll stand at about the 40. Certainly speedy and capable of breaking a return at any moment. Hey, listen, I'll tell you who else for me has been great tonight, and just add this to the list, and that's Luke Shale.
Yeah.
He's been tremendous as this one's going to attempt it to be returned. Breaking across the 20 and finally being brought down at about the 22.
Clock stops at minute 45 left. Bucks are going to get a shot to hopefully get some points on the board here to close out this game, close out the regular season. But again, I can't praise the coaching staffs at Mainland and Lake Mary more. I can't. They've done such an amazing job with their teams this year. And you know, if you're a fan, you've got to be proud. 9-1, both teams 9-1 to finish out this season. What a year!
Tremendous season.
What a year! I mean, nobody likes to lose, but you've got to take away what this really is, and you've got two great football programs that battled out tonight, and pretty much scripted for way that we expected it to.
Hand off to Kamani Robinson. Still in there as the primary running back from Mainland. Gets the handoff from Dennis Murray Jr.
Yeah, I see a lot of young guys on this defense.
I really look forward to seeing how Dennis Murray Jr. responds as they move into the playoffs after what has been a frustrating night for him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, again, that
first time all year.
It's really the whole offense. This Dennis Murray Jr. has been the vital part of how they've run this offense all season long. And again, I think this just comes back to game planning against their next opponent, and he is such a vital part. Kamari Robinson, again, outstanding to have a versatile athlete like Rodney Hill that goes both ways and can contribute on offense, but be the cornerstone of that defense at middle linebacker.
That was a nice little pass and catch out on that far side to Antonio Davis, 5'7", 150 wide receiver. He is a senior.
Yeah, and I can tell you something else. Whoever Mainland's got next week, they're watching film. And,
yeah, they are.
I can tell you, Coach Rowland wasn't going to give away what he's going to throw into the playoffs either.
New quarterback in the contest. That'll be Sebastian Johnson, a 6'1 sophomore.
Coach Rowland, he's already thinking about next week. Tonight he's going to go home, and the first thing he's going to do is start thinking about how we're going to use our guys to win, because now it's win or go home. It's not about whether or not you won or lost a game. It's your season ends. And
that's going to do it. They're going to let the clock run out here, Dan, as Trell Edwards had gotten that last carry. The teams make their way to the benches, and interesting contest here we've seen tonight will finish at a 33-0 scoreline.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway from tonight, Dan, as we move forward and into the postseason?
I think the takeaway is this. Lake Mary is exactly who we thought they were. They bounced back. They regrouped from that loss last week against Sanford. Mainland, again, you have to understand that you can't win them all. But make no mistake, this is a top program in the state of Florida, and they are going to be the favorite to win that 3S championship.
Yeah.
But, let's talk about our players of the game. In my opinion right now, I think we have to give it to Rodney Hill on Mainland.
I do too.
I think Rodney played one heck of a game on defense, was able to give that Mainland offense a little bit of life there. Such a versatile athlete. On the other end for Lake Mary, we loved Luke Perito early, but Caden Harshbarger to have 3 touchdowns against this Mainland defense.
Huge.
Caden Harshbarger is also our Cure All-Star Player of the Week.
Yep.
Our Player of the Game. So congratulations to Caden. Congratulations to Rodney. I know that the Cure All-Stars will get something out on social media this week as our Players of the Week, or Players of the Game, excuse me. But, we're going to have a lot to talk about on the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show with myself and Mainland Trujillo, and hope you guys will tune in for that. But, Bobby, once again, great opportunity to come work with you.
Yes.
And call a game.
Can't wait to do it again. Sooner the better. That'll do it for us here from Daytona Municipal Stadium. This is the Cure All-Star Game of the Week. It was a good one. Lake Mary finishes with the win 33-0 as we move into the postseason. For Mark Nusser, our extraordinary producer, for Brian Kells and Joey Pleka on the camera, for Dan LaForest, I'm B.A. We'll see you next time. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports